Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and all other folks. You're watching twitch.tv/QueueTimes. You'll find your spot and go. We'll cross.
Hell yeah!
Oh! Cool. Can we slide that back
Literally in front of the camera.
I love starting things.
Right? This is a perfect ingredient.
You fool.
No, turn it.
It's not done. You're not
turn
done.
it.
You're so close.
Like
that?
no.
No, it's
Yes.
Audience, you are so welcome.
Here, you want me to do it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Cool.
It was so
the
good.
worst.
It was perfect.
It was perfect.
I love
perfect
this.
for a second.
I want you all to savor this moment because this is the sort of like chaos that we should
This is what
aspire
you
I
to.
want.
can't
Yes.
even blame someone for putting me on the wrong side because I did that to myself.
If it makes you
I
feel
think
any
the camera
better,
got
I
knocked
blame
too,
you for
William.
putting you on the wrong side.
Sorry, what?
It looks like the
You're
camera
welcome.
got knocked too a touch.
Yeah.
Do you see what I see?
I did adjust the camera.
You
Okay.
see what I see?
It looks like Spencer's not center. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's, I'm sure I'm wrong.
Hi, everyone. You know what? Let's just start it again.
All right, cut it.
Wait.
Fuck it, I'm doing it live.
Intro us.
Hello, hi. So, oh, this is great. Cool.
Okay, go ahead.
I guess I will get us started. So, hello, viewers. Thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing with us. My name is Spencer LaBelle, he, him. I will be our MC for this evening's Session 0 of Apocalypse World. Yay! Yay, us. He's so handsome. I want him. Who said that? Okay, cool. So we're still kind of getting situated since, like, as we hit go, we kind of stepped into some camera lighting equipment. But we're all sitting down, so did we have a hand for a question?
Well, I was just wondering if those who are sitting should start saying their names, Dr. LaBelle.
I am a doctor, thank you. If you refer to me as anything other than Dr. Whatever, like, and announce that Dr. Whatever quote. Anyways, yeah, please.
I am Jonas Newhouse, he, him, and I will be playing a character.
Really good. I'm
Really
Molly
impressive.
McIsaac. I sound like a prepubescent 12-year-old boy right now. I don't always sound like this. I apologize in advance. And I'm going to be playing a character too. Amazing.
My name is Krug, and I too will be playing a character. It will be a character, yeah.
I'm William, they, them, or he, him, and I will also be playing... no one. I'm going to leave as soon as we start. No, I will play a character
You're
as well.
gonna be the camera guy because everyone just keeps hitting stuff.
Don't worry, I don't have to stand up anymore.
I'm sorry, were you done? I don't mean to step on top of you.
No, I was done.
Oh, okay.
And please step on me.
Ooh.
Whoa.
I'm trying to keep it sexy.
It's weird.
I am Indigo, and I am him, and I will be playing... You know, I'm just gonna flat out say, I'm gonna be a brainer.
Decision made. Nice.
Wow.
So, just to review, so again, tonight will be the Session 0 for our game of Apocalypse
You look
World.
like the Kermit. You look like the Dark Kermit.
I love this.
Okay,
love
sorry.
this so much.
Sorry.
Oh, brutal.
So what will be happening today is, so we are going through our character playbooks. We've already been doing a lot of preemptive research and decision making. We've reached the decision of the brainer. We've reached a few other decisions around, but that's what today is going to be. It's going to be finalizing what those characters will be, as well as it'll be starting to explore what the web of relationships these characters have between them and how that starts to kind of form a world around them. So I guess a little bit about the game of Apocalypse World is powered by the Apocalypse type games. This is where it comes from. Everything uses 2d6, a real simple game. So if you've played games like Monster Heart, City of Mists, I forget all the other ones.
World?
Dungeon World, yay! Those are all very similar, where it's
Enough.
pretty simple math.
I hate playing with Indigo.
I've never done it. No, I've done it once, and I hated that too.
Apocalypse World is a great game if you enjoy things like Borderlands, Fallout, Mad Max Fury Road, any of these things. Tank Girl.
Tank Girl.
Are going to be like big genre pulls for this, as well as the sort of like explosive climactic action that we will be seeing tonight.
Sorry!
We're gonna get banned from Twitch.
You can get Nintendo Twitch.
First of all, he said keep it sexy, so I'm just... trying to keep it sexy.
To reiterate, our principles for tonight are we're going to keep it fast, keep it violent, keep it sexy, gross, weird.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna
One for each of us.
Can
Okay.
I toss out the motion that starts at session 1 and that we don't get violent like between ourselves? That'd be great. If you could just
Motion denied.
No promises. No promises.
Cool. But would anybody like to share anything that they've been thinking about or what they're looking about?
Okay, so I'll start. So
Don't make it the weirdest part on stream. Yeah.
All right,
Let's start
show
in
and
the
tell.
middle and the top.
yeah. People should know that I'm going to be playing. I'm almost positive right now that I'm going to be playing the Savvy Head.
Cool.
What is the Savvy Head? Like, I've read it, but like, if no one's ever played the Apocalypse World, what is a Savvy Head? Like, what's the best description of it?
I guess the best description of a Savvy Head is someone who, even in this like post-apocalyptic world, very much still understands the mechanics of machines and tech. And if you need something made or if you need something like fixed, the Savvy Head is the person you would go to.
Okay.
So if you've got a if you got a robot arm,
Okay.
you're going to
ribbit.
want to have a Savvy Head as a friend.
Okay.
Or like a tank.
Or
Yeah.
like a tank
Yeah, if you
head.
have a tank arm, you're going to want.
Yes.
My arm is a tank.
Megatron.
Okay, that makes the name now makes more sense. Yeah.
I like how the Savvy Head, when they describe all the classes, they have the shortest description. And just to read that is, if there's one fucking thing you can count on in Apocalypse World, it's things break.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's true.
Mine is much shorter than yours.
Yes.
That's a really good philosophical analogy for life.
Significantly. Mine's just
Shit,
basically,
fuck,
you're
yo.
creepy as fuck.
All right.
But yeah.
I guess I'll go next since
Yeah.
so I'm going to be playing the Brainer. The Brainer is maxing out their weird aspect of it.
Excuse me, Mad Maxing out there.
Mad Maxing, thank you.
Oh.
I'm going to be Mad Maxing out my weird, and I'm going to be going for basically like their whole premise behind their character is that they are the mind probey. They can kind of like control or manipulate the world based off of your brain and kind of just like infiltrating it, and they're just all around creepy.
So you're playing something that like really relates to who you are.
I was so waiting for someone to be like, way to stretch yourself.
I was trying to be the least charismatic character I could find, so
Yeah.
that's why I was like, because the other option was the one that was in charge of cults, which was the Hocus.
The Hocus.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's too close to heart. Like, I already want
Just
to.
because, yeah, you
I
love
already
cults.
I love cults.
You already have a cult in real life.
Yeah,
so-
so it's like I don't want to like just play myself.
Is the hood like playing into the weird aspect of your character, or is that to cover up the giant bug bite on your face?
Thank you. I'm gorgeous. No, the giant hood is one. I wanted it, and I needed an excuse to buy it. And two,
That's all you gotta say.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
this was the excuse.
Yeah, fair enough.
There's no ethical consumption under late stage capitalism anyway, so just
There you
buy
go.
yourself what you want.
Yeah,
Just
there-
do it.
We're good. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Get rid
that's
of that evil money.
Yeah.
that's the premise of my character. Is just I'm going to take the weird aspect and kind of push it. And some of the decisions I've already made is that I'm going to definitely use my weird for my sexy aspect. So,
Yeah.
Hey.
who's next? Why don't you go, Krug?
I can go next. I'm thinking about playing the Angel, which is the healer archetype, I guess you could say. I'm just playing into the violent aspect of the game, but like I'm gonna probably, hopefully, prevent that from being too much of a problem for the group. I haven't played this before, so I'm gonna need a helping hand. Indigo explained to me a bit of it, but I'm going to suck is basically what I'm trying to say. So if they all die and you blame me, that's totally reasonable.
Cool. We will blame you, even if it's not your fault.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Especially if it's not
You're
your
an
fault.
angel.
It's the healer's role.
I'm just gonna like channel people like yelling at Mercy players in Overwatch. Yeah.
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 Worst heals NA.
There's a lot of source material for that if you're looking for some.
Why are you healing Reinhardt? That's an Overwatch character.
It's a good try.
It was a good choice because Reinhardt is a tank and you
you
got
wanna
a
heal the
shield.
tank.
And theoretically, they should be healed, right? That's a good healer move, right?
Yeah, why are you healing Tracer?
Cool, cool. Now that-
Rodent in a bowl?
Anyways, was there anything else, Krug?
No, I'm done. That's the angel. I heal people. That's the end of my
All right, who wants to go
life.
next?
Yeah, so I'm going to play the Gunlugger, I think, which is basically just like the tankiest of tanks. So
Reinhardt.
Yeah, she's okay, so like I don't actually play Overwatch, I just like watch other people play it, so you're losing me now. I know like Mercy and that's it. That was my one Overwatch reference. And I know that like horrible song from TikTok. I want to be Tracer.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
I only know that because you were talking about it like 2 weeks ago.
It's brainworm. So the Gunlugger is like this crazy badass tank who basically just like fights their way out of anything, kind of like a mercenary character is the impression I get. I'm heavily basing my character on Tank Girl, so I felt like that was a
Tank Girl.
Tank Girl.
Tank Girl.
So I felt like that was a good direction to go. I will read the description actually.
I would love that.
Gunluggers are the baddest asses. They have the baddest of asses. Their moves are simple, direct, and violent, crude even. If you want to take no shit, play a Gunlugger. Warning, like angels, if things are going well, you might be kicking your heels. Interesting relationships can keep you in the scene.
And I will just kind of tag on, like, if you're reading at home and you're, like, reading through the PDFs of Apocalypse World, just the first couple pages kind of give you a quick overview. And I also think just kind of do the nature of some of the character classes of Apocalypse World. Some of them have very externalized form of powers, like we were kind of discussing the Maestro D as a possibility, you know? Some of them has gangs, so rather than, like, I'm great, I can do so much. It's like, yeah, that's cool. I got 40 dudes with bats, fuck them up. So I think, again, like, the shape of, like, your cast will really kind of change the nature of your story and what you have going on in there. So between, with a Gunlugger and an Angel, that essentially guarantees a lot of blood will be shed. Yeah.
Well, I might throw that balance off a little bit. I'm playing the Battle Babe. By throw it off a little bit, I mean I'm kind of solidifying this will probably be a somewhat violent game. The Battle Babe is basically, I like the description, the second sentence in here, they're the ones you should walk away from, eyes down, but you can't. They're very dangerous. Generally, one of the moves they can take is dangerous and sexy. That's kind of the idea. They're maximized in cool, and then they might be like hot or sharp. I'm probably leaning more in a hot direction, hot and cool. Because I want to kind of play close to my own like personal personality and comforts, and so cool and hot just really felt right.
Yeah. And don't battle babes like you can get an ability where like you go into
visions
combat.
of death.
Yeah, you go into combat and you just are so hot you distract people.
Oh, that one that's the dangerous and sexy. Yeah, so there's basically two things. One is either getting visions of death before each battle, or locking eyes with people and freezing them as they can't look away from you.
Which are both.
I might take
cool
both.
You're just like a succubus.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just read off what these stats are real quick, just to get a frame of reference for when we do start calling out for roles next week. So those stats are going to be cool, hard, hot, sharp, and weird, which generally refers to cool is like keeping your cool, acting under pressure. Hard being like, hard as a mofo. That was the least hard way I could ever say something.
That was like, a little. I was
not only the least hard, but the whitest I've ever.
Right? I felt like just. I don't have a really riff to go off that. Anyways, hard is an example of how not to do that. Hot. I don't need to explain it. You're seeing it. Ooh. I said humbly. Sharp, generally being, sharp of senses, being able to pick things up, being like, hey, what's that? What's going on? Reading a sitch, reading a person. And weird would refer to generally one's capacity to open up their mind to the psychic maelstrom that has replaced any gods left in this forsaken-ass land. But yeah.
So it's like the collective unconscious, like Fruit and Young, kind of.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna nod. I feel like I missed that reference.
Oh, it's psychology reference.
Okay.
Like the godfathers of psychology.
Okay.
And the collective unconscious is just a theory that everyone kind of connects their brains into one big cloud, like an iCloud for thought.
Oh, word.
Yeah. And that's why like things like generational trauma is passed down, and not even like on a cellular level, but also in like an intellectual level or like psychological level.
Like how I don't know a single 20-something that doesn't want to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm gonna apologize before I say this, but with the godfathers of psychology, are they like, you want to fuck your mom?
I mean, yes.
Okay, you actually turned that around.
Yes.
I hated when you did the voice. I was like, easy. Oh, that's kind of funny.
I feel like you're way braver with your.
I mean, that was literally their theory for pretty much everything.
Hey, you want to fuck your mom?
They were terrible.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Cool. Notes to self, Oedipus.
I was ready
report.
to. I was ready to be like, God, move me. But now I feel pretty good about sitting next to you.
I was gonna be like, God, move me, but then I was moved.
So as a GM myself, I've already read like some of the people's
Cool name
like,
dropping.
character
Awesome.
sheet stuff, and so
Did you say name drop?
Yes.
As a GM myself, name drop.
I already know that you and I are going to not get along.
Yeah.
Just based off of like some of your questions you have to ask the group.
Yeah.
Where would you like us to start? Since
where do you want us to
you just
start?
read the stats.
I think we should start with like building the world, right?
Yeah, well, actually, I think we should kind of take a moment to kind of look through. So each of our character sheets will kind of like walk you through the steps of like creating and finalizing your character on page 2, and that will kind of end in asking questions. So there's a section called HX, which is history, is what it's short for, which kind of gives a sense of like what our characters' understandings and kind of opinions towards one another are. So kind of like how since I know we've played Monster Hearts, Jonas and Will, how characters sometimes had strings on each other. HX is if you're trying to help or interfere with one another, that's when your history comes into play, as well as you kind of develop further history, that's also one of the ways your characters can develop and strengthen and gain experience, if you will. So if we haven't already looked through that on the second page, I think...
I think the reason I had suggested building the world first is because I think I'm going to have a better grasp of my character once I know the environment that I'm in, like, personally. I just, because, like, if the entire world is underwater, then that's going to develop a different character for me than if we are like on an island surrounded by lava or like something like it doesn't have to be to those extremes exactly, but like I would build a Mad Max character differently than I would build like a tank girl character, I think, because Mad Max is more
mobile.
Well, the questions and like the system that they put in place is there's nothing that like directly makes it so that you're good at a specific thing in a certain situation. So it's none of the questions or aspects of how the game works is gonna be like you're good at swimming.
Oh no, I'm not wondering about like maxing my character's stats. I'm literally thinking about my character's personality, and like how I would. Because like being a savvy head, I was thinking of being like sort of a mechanic of sorts, that kind of thing. But like depending on where our technology is or like what we have at a hand, if we can even like, I mean, apparently we're gonna have a tank.
Yeah.
No, please.
Cool. Well, what I was going to say then to kind of just address that, we'll kind of be fleshing out more details, and I'm sure potentially more interesting things will arise. But then just to kind of give us like a default baseline, in my head, I'm really drawn towards picturing, again, like I just super love Mad Max Fury Road's like prop design, like how they like fuse cars, you know, where it's a lot of, in terms of what our tech level is, it's kind of like, it's our level of tech, but salvaged, recycled, and fused into, you know, Frankenstein versions of like monsters and guns plastered together, you know, perhaps with like bones and squirrels built into them or something. Generally speaking, imagine lots of nukes have been dropped, I feel is pretty a safe bet. Cities leveled.
Well, I think we know how that feels.
Environment
Weird.
scorched.
Is this by chance?
Are we in a
Of,
nuclear winter?
Cool. But if that gives
callback.
us something to just like, that can be our baseline. And if we have things like, okay, hang on, I want this, we have room for that. But yeah, if that answers your question.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, it bounced off my foot. Don't worry.
Yeah, and Molly Jonas, I was saying we had some.
Well, I was just wondering if we could possibly figure out our characters and kind of like solidify the world based on that, rather than trying to go the other way around. Like figure out the kind of characters we want to play and put them in a world where they're best used.
And I think that's
how I feel too.
kind of what happens as you go through the process of asking questions. And like each time one of those will like cement details that like will then help other details come into focus. But is anyone still working through like selecting all of their custom gear options or stat blocks?
I haven't done any of that yet.
Yeah, I'm very much still
Me
working
neither.
on
I
that.
haven't done anything.
Cool. Then why don't we all turn to the second page of our character sheets, and I'll just kind of like
Yes, Pastor.
Doctor.
doctor, teacher, pastor.
So choose which of the following your workspace includes.
Yeah.
Do that with a scalpel in your hand, though.
So like
Doctor.
I guess I'll just kind of casually speak to the room and all of you secondhand while you personally look at your character sheets and kind of run that. But for our audience at home who is listening or watching along and does not have a character sheet, so generally speaking, the first character sheets are like 2 pages. The first one is like the moves as well as like your stats and like boxes to make notes and shit. Whereas the second page will then go into a little more detail about each individual class. Like the angel has their angel kit, you know, so they'll be filling out what's in their like little medicine tool bag. The savvy head has a workshop of sorts. If we had any drivers or they would be customizing cars, you know. I believe battle babes and gun luggers have heavy arsenals of which they get to customize their preferred weapons. Brainers have a couple really weird, really cool, like fairly high-tech options actually to kind of help augment their psychic powers or add additional utility to theirs. I'll just read this out loud. My personal favorite Brainer gear option is called the Violation Glove, which is a high-tech hand item which allows them to do, for the purpose of Brainer moves, all they need is skin contact, which would count as time and intimacy to do deep brain scans, you know?
Normally, you have to have sex with them.
Normally, you have to have sex with them. But this time, all you need to do is just be like, hey, how are you, sweetie? I know your secrets!
It reminds me of the anti-sex in Barbarella. Like when the brain melding. Yeah.
Brain sex.
I've at least started mine.
Yeah.
So for my stats, I kind of chose to mid-max, like out of the mid-max options. So
And a quick interjection. So how stats work is instead of kind of like rolling stats like D&D, there are, on each character you have 4 sets. So it's kind of like you have a pre-written stat block and you have a couple options of stat blocks, which will kind of change your allocation, which generally forces your character into like their specialization of sorts, you know. So certain characters, like no matter what stat block you use, are always going to be like, they're always going to be hard +2 or they're always going to be hot +2 or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, so if you're seeing those, you'll be choosing it's going to be one of those rows.
Yeah, so the option that I chose was cool 1, hard 1, -2 on hot,
Creepy.
+1 to sharp, and +2 to weird. So I am an unattractive weirdo.
Yeah. Which also still allows you to be fairly well-rounded.
Yeah. The reason I kind of chose that is because I already know one of the abilities that I'm going to choose. So I actually get 2 Brainer abilities. And one of the Brainer abilities that I chose is Unnatural Lust Transfixation, which is when you try to seduce someone, roll a weird instead of a hot roll. So I attract people with how weird I am.
They don't understand. I don't know why, but maybe it's a fear boner, maybe it's a confusion boner.
I don't know. Sometimes you're just like, man, I don't know what it is about them, but I'd hit it. So that's kind of like why I chose that stat, is because I'm not planning on using hot very much, and so like dropping that to a -2 isn't really going to hurt me so much.
Yeah.
Because the only other thing is manipulate, and I don't really plan on like manipulating the situation so much as, you know, probing people's brains. The next aspect of the character is kind of my gear, and that's where I wanted to like kind of talk to everyone else about, because personally I would love, because I have a small selection of weapons that I can choose from, and I get one small fancy weapon. There is a couple of ranged options, but I personally would prefer to have either an ornate dagger or a hidden knife for myself. Because I kind of want to be that kind of like close up, like, oh, don't hurt me, and then I stab people. But if like, I think we're pretty like rounded for like an option of you guys being ranged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you gonna not be a ranged?
Well, yeah. Well,
No.
I wasn't planning on it.
Okay.
Love it.
I mean, we don't have to be.
Well, I was kind of between. I don't know if we want to segue into like, because I started building my stuff too.
Segue.
I think like this is gonna be like, for me at least, it's I want your guys' opinions on different things so that I know that one, we're well rounded, as well as like my character fits in the situation. Like if we're all melee characters, then I have no problem being the one person with a silenced M9. So
I'll also, I guess,
I have a lot of guns.
I bet. I mean, you're the gun hugger. I hope you're hugging some guns.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
I thought I would also make a quick interjection about I guess harm, which is kind of part of like the thing I'm still kind of pretty wrapping my head around, because I was like trying to figure out, okay, when does like harm happen? And it essentially happens when it happens, you pull a trigger, boom, that's it. But just to get a frame of reference, so like combat in this game is not so much trade blows, 6 hit points, you're still standing, they're not. So since this is also something I see a lot of people ask questions about, so kind of on the first page there is a harm clock. So each one, the 12 to 3 section, 3 to 6, and the 6 to 9, each of those counts as 1 harm. Then the 9 to 12 hour clock positions, that's 3 separate. So essentially it's, for player characters, it's 6 harm until death. And it's kind of written in such a way that like things get better before it gets worse. So those first 3, and they do have a little section further on in the rules talking about how like the more harm you accumulate, the like longer it takes to heal and the harder and more expensive it will be to get back up on your feet. But that's something I'm sure will be coming up more with Angel and healing harm, since we actually have a medic. Yay. But additionally off that point, since I guess the point of that being in regards to the questions of like, do we have a well-balanced party in the context of a combat scenario? Since it's kind of like more narrative driven, it's rather than like, cool, I have 5 feet, so the lines are kind of soft, and like,
but is there a method by which you can like avoid part of a conflict? So if somebody's like, this character is going to shoot you with a gun, can you like try to take cover and like avoid that in some way? Or is it just like somebody decides to shoot you, you get shot with a gun, and you get some harm?
I would normally imagine it would be normally read in the situation of, hey, this guy's shooting at you, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
At which point, then it kind of falls back into, okay, well, what sort of narrative-guided actions are we going to take to either avoid that fire or return fire?
Yeah. When you said that, like, you pull the trigger and that's when it happens, I was like, oh, there's no, like...
I have a move called fuck this shit where I can just like fuck off from battle too.
You're just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I love that game.
Yeah. So I'm assuming like if my character can do that, you could do that on like a role play level.
Yeah.
Mine just like has like bonuses and stuff.
There's also a section that everyone has called moves. And so, like, for example, the moves that my character has options for is keep an eye out, baiting a trap, and turning the tables. So that is where this section comes in, and these give descriptions of what those are.
Thank you.
And so that will help you.
Is this one, or is this for... Oh, this is one for everyone.
So there are a couple different pages there.
There's a bunch of different pages.
Yeah, normally look at the top, and there are different pages for, like, battle moves, or, like, subterfuge moves, or, like, vehicle combat moves.
This is something I was missing before. This makes so much more sense.
Cool, yeah.
I'll just read through this if you want to.
And ultimately, with the nature of the Powered by Apocalypse 2d6 system, again, generally speaking, If you're just like GMing and you don't know the rules off the top of your head, like I don't know any MCs that like don't know. Come on, who makes things up? Who doesn't have everything memorized? But if you were, it's generally speaking where it's essentially anytime you roll, there's 3 possible outcomes. You fail, you succeed, or you succeed with a cost attached to it. So and those kind of give a breakdown of like because ultimately the story begins and ends within the narrative. Moves being called whenever we feel as if it has been narratively triggered, just kind of giving a sense of like, okay, cool, here's a written example of, okay, I want to jump from a moving vehicle and board another moving vehicle, so they give an example, hey, do that plus sharp. Here's an example of like how that could go in any one direction. Yeah. Yeah.
The world is your very dusty post-apocalyptic oyster.
That was a mouthful, but you got through it.
I did. I'm good at myself.
Now say it 3 times fast.
So my weapons, I was thinking. So I get a firearm and a hand weapon. It looks like. And the reason I wasn't sure. So originally I had picked. I had a a big scoped shotgun, which basically is a shotgun that then adds. It is no longer loud, and I can do it at range. But I had just changed it to a big semi-automatic shotgun.
Do you want a big semi-automatic machete or something?
Well, so that's my firearm, but my big semi-automatic machete.
I mean, you want like a shotgun that like fires machetes or some shit? I played Ratchet and Clank.
I just want. Well, no. So that's like gun, which isn't necessally range.
Gun, you say?
It's close.
Is that a gun that fires guns?
But yeah,
That sounds great.
Sounds horrible.
Me say gun.
Gun.
But the main weapon I want to use for my character, I think I messaged you about this, Spencer, and I know I sent you a picture of this. It's basically like the blade of a razor blade, big razor blade at the end of a 8-foot stick.
Yeah.
It's those things. I know at least William and Indigo, you would have seen them at the warehouse that we used to scrape off like stickers and shit.
Yeah.
So that basically I just have as a staff with a heavy blade.
It's a pole arm, basically.
It's like a pole arm, but it's like a razor blade at the end rather than like a stabby. So it's more of a slicing.
So looking at the battle blades page, so you get 2 custom weapons. So then for that, I would describe it as what you have. For a custom hand weapon, so you'd have, I guess,
a staff with a heavy blade. Which
so that would have, hand generally refers to kind of the area, hand area as opposed to just hand. So you'd be able to get a little bit of reach on that, tags just generally referring to like where are the loose, soft limits of how far, like hand is closer than area is closer than close, medium, far, So again, it's like softly defined. It's not 300 feet, 5 feet.
Mm-hmm. But that's...
Is there like a list of like approved in-world weapons, or can we just do whatever the hell we want?
Let's go.
A list of small practical weapons.
Well, mine is like I get like a big fuck off gun, so I'm like, can I just make up a big fuck off gun, or do I have to like...
don't have a list of...
To that extent, there actually is, on the second page of the gun lugger, on the far left, the fuck off big guns.
Okay, so I have to choose these.
Yeah.
this is like a professional term. Like,
grenade launcher!
Right?
Grenade launcher!
No way!
Fuck
Forearm, close area, messy.
Splash
Messy, you say? I don't
Messy.
think so.
Messy is a great tag. I'll let you guess what it does.
Wait, hold on. I want to know
the
because I
shotgun's
have
also
a shotgun
messy.
that I can pick and it says messy. Is it just like it gets me covered in blood and I have to like deal with that like in my own head, or is it like something else?
I think that's one possible interpretation. Yes.
I think with a
I'm gonna stop
shotgun...
giving you ideas. How about that?
I could also do a grenade tube. So I could have a grenade launcher and a grenade tube, but I feel like that's
grenadier.
I'm just
a
saying,
little excessive.
between your shotgun and the grenade launcher, I feel okay with having an ornate dagger as my weapon.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Another
I'm like,
interpretation
cool,
to the
you
messy
guys got
tag
this.
is like you use the shotgun and then your ex calls you and is like, hey, I want to start banging again, but I'm not sure I'm ready.
Whenever I shoot the shotgun,
Where's the
what a
papers
coincidence!
that I handed
This
you?
happened last time I killed someone with the shotgun.
They're over there.
Ooh, do I want a magnum?
Cool. All right, so I mean, I can keep going. So I'm going to choose an ornate dagger as my weapon, and then I get 2 brainer gear pieces. So the 2 I'm choosing is an implant syringe, which is a high-tech tag. After you've tagged someone, if a brain or move allows you to inflict harm on them, inflict +1 harm to them. So I'll be doing additional damage. And then the other one I'm choosing is the Violator Glove, a Violation Glove, which I'm physically imagining it as a Nintendo
Power Glove.
Power Glove. Yes.
How I've also pictured it in my hand is if you've played Batman Arkham Asylum, how their Scarecrow has this glove just with syringes on all 4 fingers. That's also a little how I kind of pictured it. Would have stabbed myself if I was right now. Just Ezra, Edward syringe hands over here.
Stupid.
Edward Needletoes.
I have a question.
Yeah. Answer.
AP.
I believe that refers to, there are a number of things. Possibly.
It's okay, so I'm asking because I can choose 2 serious guns, and one of the things that I can choose under serious guns is AP ammo, which says add AP to all your guns.
Oh,
Cool.
armor penetration.
That's what I expected
Okay.
as much.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Which again, some of your characters will have either moves that grant you armor, or will just be able to get equipment with armor. Like I know Battle Babes have a move where they can just choose to have 2 armor, which again, it's very where if a handgun deals, the average handgun is probably 2 harm. Knives are 2 harm.
Yep.
A grenade launcher is 4 harm, close area, messy. So again, when harm does start becoming inflicted, it's plus minus. Pretty simple.
I'm doing that so I can fuck people up.
There, I believe, are further and deeper in the rule book. There are sometimes you'll see points kind of like that. You were asking about AP. Sometimes they have V harm or other types of harm, which you kind of refer to vehicular harm or building harm or shit like that. There's one with a symbol that I think is psychic harm, but I have no idea how to read that symbol. It's the harm formerly known as Prince.
It's like that band that's just 3 exclamation points. How do you pronounce that? No, they said chick, chick, chick.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I have a question.
I have an answer.
One of the things I get under gear is oddments worth 4 barter. That sentence makes no goddamn sense.
Okay, cool. So let's discuss barter then and introduce barter. Oddments can be whatever the hell.
Okay, it's like tchotchkes, knickknacks.
Barter is the general basic denomination of currency within Apocalypse World. What the actual thing is it's kind of like barter is our gold standard. Gold may have no value. Paper money. Bottle caps if you're playing Fallout, if you will. I once played a game where it was the first game of Apocalypse World I ever played. It was very swamp heavy because there are tons of acid rain. So teeth, which would survive the acid rain because of enamel, became the unit of currency.
That's cool as hell.
Right? So yeah.
I want that to be currency now.
Essentially, and barter will come up when, you say you need to pay someone to get all these bullets out of you, or I don't know, bribing a warlord to not execute all of you, or any number of things you can come up with. You'll also notice there's a little section that will discuss barter. Gradually, over the course of a campaign, you would be expending barter each session to maintain a lifestyle or starve to death. Is a thing, unless somebody wants to bail you out. Which I also think actually makes a pretty interesting way of just kind of having events continue to organically occur, since you can just at the start of each session being hey, I'd like to work a gig, and they describe potential gigs, so it just seems okay, cool, slice of life.
So if I want to be if I want to take on mercenary murder missions, I can.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Pretty much.
Cool. Good to know.
So essentially, but again, bottom line, you have oddments worth 4 barter. That's essentially your starting currency.
Cool. I have $4.
$4.
I am taking. So the other thing is I have is fashion suitable to my look, including at my option fashion worth 1 armor or body armor worth 2 armor. You detail. And I had been envisioning this character basically being wrapped from the neck down in gauze. So
Mummy
I think.
chic.
Yeah, very mummy chic. Which could fit in with the impossible reflexes move, but I kind of want to just have that be a thing either as my armor or under or over armor. I don't know which you would.
There was somewhere in there which described using armor, where it was 1 armor could just be clothes and whatnot versus like 2 armor is armor,
Sure.
you know? And it kind of seemed like that should be a talking point for each individual game to be like, what is what, you know? I'm a little more in favor of keeping it loose, being like, fuck it, they have an armor, you know? So if you want to call that whatever, 2 armor, fuck it, you're a battle babe, why not?
I mean, like, here's sort of a thought. What if I have a ton of this gauze stuff, and that's also what my 4 barter is in? It's like, it is soft and flexible, but when it's wrapped around me, you know, it functions as, like, armor would,
and
which would make it a commodity.
Yeah, and when you say that, what that makes me think of is kind of like, you know, how, like, you have, like, Kevlar nylon fibers, you know? So I feel this is not cotton gauze as you describe it. If it's simultaneously barter and worth it. So like,
I think so.
I want to hear some more about that in a moment.
Yeah.
Well, an armor is also, it doesn't have to be like a physical thing protecting you. It can also just be like, you're aware of your surroundings, and when someone points a gun at you, you move. And so, like, because you got out of the way of the impact of the bullet, didn't hit your chest, it hit your arm. And so it did a little less damage or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many ways to justify something.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, that's all it is like, make a choice, justify it.
Yeah. I dig it. I love games that are all about justification.
But yeah.
So I've got everything except for my 2 brainer moves, which is the only thing I've got left to do. One of them I'm going to take Unnatural Lust Transfixation, which when you try to seduce someone, roll a weird instead of rolling a hot. Now, I'm debating between 2 other options, and I would like your guys' opinions.
Okay.
Direct Brain Whisper Projection. You can roll a weird to get the effect of going aggro without going aggro. Your victim has to be able to see you, but you don't have to interact. If your victim forces your hand, your mind counts as a weapon. 1 harm, armor penetration, close, loud, optional. So that's one option.
Cool. I'll quickly interject to define the term of going aggro. Going aggro is one of your bread and butter battle moves. It's normally like, all right, cool, I want to do something and I want to like use my weight to get that way. What? Something like that. So going aggro is usually what you're doing when like you're starting a fight or you're ready if one starts.
It's like berserking.
Yeah, being like, hey, I want that thing. Give it to me. Go aggro.
Yeah, you're putting. So basically, it's I can basically. These are not the droids that you're looking for. Like, I mean, without
really convincing in that hood, especially.
I mean, to give it another example.
I'm obfuscating for 2 seconds.
The other option is in-brain puppet strings. When you have time and physical intimacy, which I wouldn't necessarily need to do because I have the glove. Physical intimacy with someone, again, mutual or one-sided, you can plant a command inside their mind. Roll weird on a 10 plus, hold 3, on a 7 to 9, hold 1. At your will, no matter the circumstances, you can spend your hold 1 for one of the following things. So if I roll a higher than 10, I would get 3 of these. I can inflict 1 harm, or they take a -1 right now. So like -1 to a specific thing. If they fulfill your command, that counts as your remaining hold. On a miss, you inflict 1 harm upon your subject to no benefits. So those are my options.
Cool.
That I'm kind of like...
I like that the in-brain puppet strings thing. The like manipulation of that sounds very fun to play with, and the fact that you have that glove means you can do that a lot, potentially.
I'll kind of compare, if you've ever seen like or read Berserk, how like the character Griffin will also have these moments where like from hundreds and hundreds of feet somebody will make eye contact, and how this character has this intense, unnerving, like you will die sort of stare. Yeah. That's kind of how I picture the direct brain whisper, you know, where it's like if you want to like freak people out, unnerve them, and mess with their heads from like a long, intense distance, that would be a good way to go. Where the in-brain puppet strings, it kind of seems like if you want to like manipulate and mastermind people and kind of give them an or else, that would also be another good way to go.
So it's like if we get into a situation where we need to like say get into a stronghold, if we can get me close enough, I can touch a guard or something like that and be like, let us in. You know, and they can be like, no, and they could not let us in, but then I can use my hold to do things to them that would cause them physical pain, or they could like have a reduced stat. Like, so if they're trying to like attack us or do something, they would take a -1.
-1.
I think it's definitely a good way to apply pressure.
Yeah, I like that.
So we're thinking in-brain puppet strings, which is the touchy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So then, other than my questions I have to ask all of y'all, my character's done.
Cool.
This is where I am.
Yeah.
So my workspace, I've chosen my 3 things. Because I get to choose 3 things for my workspace. I chose a junkyard of raw materials.
Nice.
Machining tools, and a relic of the Golden Age past.
Cool.
Which is going to be footage of an interview with Judy Garland.
Okay.
It's real footage, and I don't have like any projector or anything to play the real footage, but like I take it and like I look at it and I can see like the frame by frame images. So,
and like savvy heads are a little weird too. They can kind of create sort of I think they have a move called Thing Speak that I think all savvy heads can do, where they can kind of like have some psychic connection and just kind of like communicate with objects and read the psychic energies of objects.
Yeah, it's literally called the savvy head move is Thing Speak, which I did choose.
Cool.
So
I would not be surprised if like you could just kind of like, if you have like just a tape or a record, I imagine you can just like, I'm picturing you with like picking fragments of vinyl out of like the junkyard, and you can hear the like sections of song just by like running your finger across the grooves.
Yep. That's cool. Yeah, that might be in my junkyard. I just have like a vinyl collection and stuff like that. I like that. Cool. I don't know if any of that has mechanical stuff, like a junkyard of raw materials and then machining tools. Does any of that have mechanical anything?
It's more, I think, evocative or anything. So a junkyard of raw materials means similar like kids on bikes, if we have prepared, and it's something that could be justifiable.
Oh, sure.
You have a junkyard full of raw materials. It's something that could be justifiably raw materials.
Yeah.
Maybe we could find it, something like it, or something that was once junk ended up in the junkyard.
Like, and I have machining tools. So, like, say if someone has a tank and they want, like, it broke down and they want me to fix it, I could say, like, I have the materials, I have the tools to fix this. We do some rolling because it's like whenever I have a thing I want to do in my workspace, you choose 1 to 4 of the following things, which some of it's going to take hours, days, weeks, month of work, and you decide how long that is. And then first you'll have to get build, fix, figure out blank. You're going to need blank to help you with that, like that kind of thing. So I think that this would just like make some of that more easy to accomplish, like based on what I have and whatever. I have the barter function. Is that at the bottom of everybody's thing? Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Then past that, I've got my stats. As for my gear, does that matter at all?
Let's see. Just reading that because I'm looking at it. So you have your workspace. You have your personal fashion, which you will be detailing for us, as well as oddments worth 6 barters. Any personal piece or 3 of normal gear or weaponry, which... Normal gear or weaponry? You want some armor and mundane guns?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
You mean like IRL?
IRL? Yeah, you want some gun? Cool, I got a gun.
Only if it's mundane.
They shoots guns.
Yeah, here.
Gun.
Thanks.
It's called a 3D printer.
I actually do want to ask a question here. Is the Judy Garland interview
sexual,
but also secret? Is this a thing people know that you have?
The Judy Garland interview film, people don't know I have that, but they do know that I have like other like film stock and like records and stuff that I, that I like touch and I'm like,
So your workshop is
nice.
the closest thing to an extant Best Buy.
Okay, so I have a question based off of the decision that you made. When we're talking about our post-apocalyptic world, right? Are we thinking that like apocalypse happened at like now, or like right after like Judy Garland's time? Because that's gonna make a difference. Like, is that a new interview? Is that something new and exciting that happened right before, and that's why, or was it just because it was in like a storage locker and it was saved from the fires or whatever?
Yeah, I think the latter, because like I think that I just really like Judy Garland.
Okay, so it's not always just film reels. You also have like DVDs and stuff like that.
Yeah, like DVDs and we did, because we'd only said like film stock and vinyl.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
Yeah,
I've got set the apocalypse date anyway.
Yeah,
and that's why I was like, okay,
it's a good to start bringing
come
up
to my
now, like,
junkyard. I'll show you cheaper by the dozen on DVDs.
Yeah, I would like to borrow Amazon Women 5 if I could again.
Or like,
again.
Blockbuster now.
if like, you know, a scavenger finds like a CD or like, you know, a cassette or something, is like, you know, you're probably the person that a person would bring that to, be like, hey, this got anything cool on it? This got some jingle?
Oh, maybe it's because you have the ability to play back stuff, not necessarily like that's why people come to you, not because you have like a blockbuster's worth of DVDs and stuff like that, but more the fact that you have the capability of getting those things to play. So when someone finds Amazon Women 5, they're like, hey.
So electricity is like a thing?
Electricity, I think, is a very luxury commodity that usually only people in Lux dens, people who are card holders, positions of power and esteem, warlords, maester Ds, they will probably have power.
I have a bar 8 for Amazon.
Average level of tech, I'm gonna plant the image of a little more like frontier level of technology. You know, we're talking, you know, hammer and nail being the most accessible. Technology is expensive and pricey to maintain.
Yeah. Okay.
Buckets, not pipes.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's a good way of explaining that.
Thanks, man.
Buckets, not pipes.
I thought you were gonna make fun of me, to be honest, but now my heart's warm.
Oh.
I would never make fun of you, and I never have.
Hey.
Please rewind the video back to 0. And watch him make fun of me for tripping on a thing.
Okay, well that was a major fuck up.
I didn't say it wasn't. I'm just saying. You made fun of me.
Victim blaming there.
All right.
right.
Well, I have a couple of questions as well, because I don't understand one of my moves that I have the option to pick from. I picked one already, which is I can roll plus sharp instead of roll plus history when I help someone who's rolling.
Okay.
So that I took that one, and then the other one I want to take is infirmary, but I don't understand it. It says you get an infirmary, a workspace with life support, a drug lab, and a crew of 2, and then it lists 2 names, just like of people, but like, I don't like them.
Bob and Frank.
You can replace those.
Shigusa and Mox. I'm not interested in those things.
I think the operative word in that
Shigusa.
sense is Shigusa and Mox, comma, maybe.
Yeah, it says maybe. Yeah.
Cool.
And then it says, get patients into it, and you can work on them like a savvy head on tap. And then in parentheses it says CF, and I don't understand the impact of having this resource.
I don't fully understand the CF in that, but to describe it, you can often think about a lot of these things as set pieces to our story. And so what this really adds is now that your character has this infirmary as a set piece, that your character has a home base they can access, that they have instead of we're on the road, I have 4 bandages left, I don't know how far this is going to get us, as opposed to being cool, my infirmary is stocked, come here, cool. And similarly how, again, since we'll have savvy heads, we can kind of reference how the savvy head could do all of that stuff with technology and can work on that and really sit down to work on a project regarding with technology. So if you have a bone that needs setting or an arm that needs replacing with a cooler bionic arm, that could be something that could be done with the use of an infirmary, as well as, again,
what about a gun arm?
A gun arm. You could be replaced if you want to sit down and set yourself to giving somebody else a cool gun arm. That would be something that I would imagine would fall under the purview of an infirmary. As well as you have a crew of 2. So if you want a couple assistants,
So basically, you can do surgery without having one of us having to help. I think that's why you get 2 other people. Is basically they're surgeons that only get to help you in the situation when you're using your infirmary.
For surgery.
Surgery. For when you want to get a gun that shoots arms.
Can I have a gun that shoots arms?
Guns that shoots arms? Yeah, but the real question is, where do you get the arms?
I mean, I've been doing surgery on people, so...
yeah, we're best friends.
So you sell them arms that shoot guns? Cool. You sell you guns and you sell them guns that shoot arms?
You fix the saws that I use to chop off the arms, and then I give you the arms. And then, like, we just have, like, a pile of, like...
It's a perfect exchange.
We don't talk about the pile. Yeah. There's no waste.
No waste.
Except for the...
We use every part of the arm.
You can't waste in the apocalypse. It's a wasteland, not a wasteful people.
A wasteful land. You almost had it.
We don't want a second apocalypse, guys. We got to take care of it this time.
Are we off the rails? Are you trying to reel us back in?
I was just going to say, do we have any names? Fuck the rails.
Yes.
I have a name.
I have a name.
I
don't.
Hey, wait a minute.
Molly.
I'm Cyanide.
Ooh.
Bitches.
Cyanide the gun lugger.
Yep.
And also, you're not a gun lugger. You are the gun lugger. So again, we discussed about, like, as we've been approaching that, I think that is an important distinction. You're not an angel. You are the angel. And you may meet other people who are perhaps a battle babe or a gun lugger, but you are the gun lugger, the battle babe, the brainer, the savvy head, and the angel.
Dude, you get 10 points for remembering everybody's choices like that. That was astonishing.
I know. I don't even know what, like, did I put on pants today? I did.
You went into a fugue state. And just
you don't understand. We've done like 13 episodes of Hijinks and Handlebars, and even whenever I need to say all of your names, I always lose them.
They all rhyme.
Still, I lose
just
them.
Like mumble at the beginning and you got
What's your name?
My character's name is Sin Rogers, the Battle Babe. Her first name is Sin.
Senator Rod?
Sin, like sin.
Like sinning? Like sinning?
Like to sin.
Like a sinner?
Her last name is Rogers to signify that she can trace her bloodline back to before the apocalypse when families had names like Rogers. And it has stuck to the generation that she...
Cool.
And you were like, oh my god, my most famous relative is Mr. Rogers.
I was about to
Rogers with a D, so that is the famous Mrs. Rogers.
Does Rogers know of Mr. Rogers back in the golden age when society existed?
I mean, if this was a post-Mr. Rogers apocalypse, I think I would have heard of it.
Question. Molly, you're playing a female, yes? Are you playing...
Sin is she, her.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to confirm both of those. Thank you.
Yeah.
Time for some hot lesbian sex.
Whoa.
Well, we'll see about that.
I don't fucking know what my name's gonna be.
Who says you need one? You're the brainer.
You could just be like...
Honestly, I'm so cool with just the brainer being known as the brainer.
I don't want you to know my name.
Your name could be something super weird.
Look,
what about...
let me just show you... Let me just...
Cthulhu.
Let me show you the sample names. Smith is a sample name. Or maybe Jones or...
Jonas.
No, Jones.
Oh.
The sample names are like super lame.
Jonas.
Wait, be Spoon.
I like Gritch.
Spoon.
Gritch is on
Gritch.
there.
Also,
Gritch is
if you haven't done yourself the favor of like reading some of the sample names, really do.
Mine are
they
like,
really give you a lot
Damn
of
Son
flavor.
is one of mine.
Damn Son.
Vonk the Sculptor.
All right.
And then also, all of the second half are all dog names.
Right.
Rex, Fido, Spot, Boxer, Doberman, Trey, Killer, Butch, Fifi, Fluffy, Duke, Wolf, Rover, Max, or Buddy.
So is Cyanide like
Doberman?
an awakened dog by any chance?
I'm just saying...
I'm a dog furry. Yiff, yiff. No.
Yip, motherfucker!
I'm just saying... One of
Furries shall inherit the earth.
Oh, God.
I'm just saying one of the sample names for my character is Sin.
Is Sin really?
It is legitimately
I didn't
Sin.
know that.
Yeah.
That's funny. I picked the wrong playbook.
Yeah, apparently.
How about Chastity?
How about Dead? What if your name is Dead?
I want you to be Brainerd.
How about Chamber
Brainerd.
or Pity or Brace or Sundown?
Sundown.
Ew.
No, these are all horrible names. Let's go around and I'll come up with one.
Oh, Shadow the Hedgehog is one of these. No, it's just Shadow.
Oh yeah, one of mine is Christian.
Weirdly enough, Sonic is an option.
Yeah.
No way.
Gotta go fast.
Oh shit, it's the Little Mermaid.
Oh crap! I can be
Knuckles
Seamus.
Deep, that's a horrible name.
I disagree. I was planning on using that exact phrase in session 01.
All right.
I think your name is Spock. It's an old name,
Right.
an old family
Biblical.
name. Yeah, biblical name Spock.
Weirdly
The new
enough, I
Bible.
touch people on their face like this, you know.
Incidentally, it is the anniversary of Leonard Nimoy dying today.
Oh, well, now I have to.
You're being Leonard?
Yeah, no, Leonard should it be Leonard or should it be Spock?
Nimoy.
Nimoy.
Boy.
I'm okay with Nimoy.
Nimoy's pretty
great.
good.
Because if you were Leonard, it would make me think of the Bad Bang Theory.
Ugh.
What is your
Let's
character's
go.
You
name?
misspelled the bad bad.
Galawingo.
What is your character's name?
Bajinga.
My character.
Jenga.
Bojangles. Bojangles. Gazebo.
Gazebo?
Are we getting a little out of control?
A little bit, yeah.
No, it's okay.
Control's an illusion.
My character's name is Gray
Like the alien.
With an E or an A?
with an E.
Coolio. But is it also like EI?
No.
Cool.
How many-
I was hoping you
Is
could
Is
clever
your
on it.
character's
How many
name
shades of
Christian
you are
Grey? Our middle-aged mom's gonna get all hot and bothered by you.
No.
Well, I mean, yes, but for other
No,
reasons.
I'm atheist Gray.
Oh my god.
All right, I want to be moved.
Really?
My pocket. I don't know why it was in my pocket.
Were you stealing
Anyway,
coasters?
but also Gray is non-binary they them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Did people describe or what they look
I
like?
haven't given a visual for my character.
Just
either.
names then.
Yeah.
Just names.
My character's name is Crew.
Crew?
Crew.
Like-
CROO.
I should have been writing this down.
Cool.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. So we have to do the HX.
That's exactly what I was doing.
So you are Cyanide.
Cyanide, Sin Rogers, Nimoy, Crew, and Gray.
And you can obviously just call her Sin, but I have a last name for her, so. And Gray would say them.
Wait, is it with an E or an A? I didn't catch that. Well,
E?
E, yes, it's E.
and then Crew is like,
CROO.
okay.
Can we get a pronoun check for Nimoy and Crew?
He.
He.
I haven't decided.
Cool.
I wanna know, have you decided?
Fun fact, I have a friend who thinks that's the lyric, and I'm still pretty sure it's not.
It's not.
Crew, did you go for the infirmary?
Yeah.
Coolio. I'll also point out, so what we can also kind of extrapolate from the fact that we have a junkyard and an infirmary is that we kind of have a semi-permanent base of sorts for our group of characters, you know, which again, kind of like when we start talking about how do we discover and flesh out the world, you know, so now that we know we have this kind of, these 2 points of contact to root ourselves in a physical location, you know, then that gives us a place to like kind of start fleshing out with. But
When do you decide to like me enough to give me a tank?
I'm gonna assume
a
session one.
little bit, we kind of went further away from that just now, but
But I can protect the camp with my tank.
we're always going back to
What
it.
if
There's always
the
a
camp is in the tank?
No,
it's a very big tank.
my camp is in the tank. No one else's camp is
Okay,
in the
all
tank.
right.
I'll also throw out for our viewer at home. There under under the gear section where you look out, there is a tab for most characters that if you'd like to start play with a vehicle or a prosthetic, get with the MC, me. So Molly has been asking for a tank, and yes, I will say this group of individuals has a tank.
Yay!
And it can mostly be cyanides.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
perfect.
It is cyanides.
Well, I probably built it, so...
I feel like this is going to be a thing that comes
But
up over and over again.
it's still hers.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it was a gift.
Weirdly enough, it's got Gray's name all
Cool.
over
Question
on
for
every
cyanide.
part.
What's the name of the tank?
Oh, fuck. What did you say?
Arsenic.
Arsenic? Yeah. Or
Arsenic?
no, old lace. Old lace. Old Lace.
Cyanide and Old Lace.
Yes.
I love it.
Which is like arsenic and Old Lace,
yeah.
but yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Like I had like a
Lace
list
is
of
a great
names I was
tank
thinking
name.
of, like NPCs to throw off, and there goes Old Lace.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You just crossed it out. You're right. You're not even joking. You're not even joking or lying.
I'm
This
not.
isn't even a bit for the stream.
Yes, no, my tank is named Old Lace.
That's awesome.
Because it's almost arsenic and Old Lace.
Cool. All right.
I mean, now I feel like I should change my name to arsenic, because then it's better. But cyanide is such a goddamn good name.
No, see, I like this because it's like you're doing a play on that.
Well, I know I am doing a play on that.
Yeah,
It's
but
not like I am.
Yeah,
I
but it's
am
like
doing it.
no, but
yeah.
it's like you're doing a play on
It's
it.
almost like
almost
you
like-
thought about it and you were creative
almost
and
like-
you were
Wow.
using like what are you trying to say?
It's almost like
Question for
Are you trying to give me a compliment right now, Will?
It's almost like
is
you're
that
being
what's happening?
It's like
I don't
the
think anyone
worst.
can tell really at this point.
Gray?
yeah.
Since I'm accepting it as canon that you built the tank, you built Old Lace. What's one thing about Old Lace that Cyanide does not know?
It's got a kill switch.
Yeah, it's made of marshmallows. No,
What?
it's a
It's
joke.
scared of water.
It's afraid of water.
It has an artificial intelligence, but you haven't turned it on.
It's like the Millennium Falcon. It has like
Artificial
3
intelligence
warring
that's afraid of
robot
water?
brains inside of it.
Something that about Old Lace that Cyanide does not know. It has a bathroom.
How would I not know that?
How big
has-
is this tank?
It's got like one of those astronaut it's got like a tube thing where you just like you pop it on and it's like boom out.
Do you use that bathroom whenever you can get away with it?
Oh
that like-
no, that's
okay.
disgusting.
I just love what also that like extrapolating means. If you thought you'd have a bathroom in there, you don't
You
know.
don't.
Oh, delightful.
Why?
Does it have a built-in shiwi in there? Like
Will, I have
Yeah.
to remind you, you could literally choose anything.
No, that's yeah. And you chose right.
I was
You chose
expecting
right.
some secret device built in.
Yeah.
Perhaps you have a remote control
No.
to it.
You
There's
can-
a bathroom.
You have a spy cam.
No.
in the bathroom. Wait, what?
Absolutely
That
not.
is rude.
The bathroom is a spy cam.
I didn't want to do something that was like,
Helpful?
No. I didn't want to do something that was like, I'm doing a thing that like is double crossing you, like sort of, because that's not the kind of character I'm playing. I just like I think it's funny.
You don't think having a kill switch in it would be helpful?
What about like
not
secret
against her?
weapons, like a secret gun?
Because like if someone steals the tank, you're like, cool, kill switch.
No, if there was a kill switch, or if there was a secret weapon or a weapon on it, I would just tell you.
But you wouldn't tell her about the bathroom.
No, because that's funny.
I think it's really funny.
And
that
you're
she
just like,
doesn't
hang
know
on,
about
hang
it.
on, and you just flip open a latch, you pull across the curtain.
Okay, first
What's
of all,
happening?
okay,
We go
first
to
of
the
all,
tank, we're like, why does it always smell like shit in here?
First of all, tanks have the same rule as tour buses. No number 2s, all right? Only number 1s.
Does Gray just like go in Old Lace when Cyanide's not around and use the bathroom? It's like Gray's quiet time.
If it's available, I suppose.
Do the rest of us know about the bathroom?
No, just Gray.
This is awesome.
I just also want to make like I just really want it to be true that this is just the nicest bathroom for
Right.
miles.
It's actually porcelain
Is it
while
the
everything else
only-
is a bucket.
There's a bidet. There's a bidet.
Oh,
yeah.
there's gonna be a bidet.
It's a pump bidet.
There's
Oh yeah, a manual bidet.
Is it like behind like a bookshelf or
Oh, it's
something?
always
Like
behind.
There's a bookshelf in this tank too.
I don't
The
know.
bookshelf you know about.
Canon.
Where else am I gonna keep my apocalyptic tomes?
Tombs?
You
You
Tomes.
tomes
Tomes.
tombs.
First of
Tomb of
all,
Tombs.
the tomes are fanfic, okay?
Tomb of
Like,
Tomes.
let's just get that
There's
straight.
nothing wrong with fanfic.
I'm not
oh
saying
my
it's
god.
bad. I'm
That's
just-
true.
I'm
and
just
thank you
saying-
for having my back.
I'm just saying it's fanfic, all right?
Yeah, well,
It's Raylo fanfic.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
so
you're
much.
right. There's nothing wrong
You
with
had a
it. I agree.
question?
I said it. I just wanted to say I think it's funny that she doesn't know there's a bathroom in it.
Great.
I think Spencer might do a murder.
Do a murder.
Might. Well, I think the next stage, since we're starting to like ask questions, we should, I think, kind of start formally moving on to the HX question phases.
Should we describe our characters first?
I would love that.
I want to know what
yes.
everybody looks like.
Well,
I-
the HX start of it says everyone introduces their characters by name, look, and outlook. take your turn and then list the other characters' names. Go around on your turn, ask either or both questions.
Cool. Then I think we went through the name cycle, so why don't we cycle with look and then maybe outlook if we have it?
Cool.
Okay. What is outlook?
Your outlook on life.
Oh,
your
just how I do.
Yeah.
How you do.
All right.
How you do, what you do, who you
There
do.
aren't like guidelines for that. That's just like think about it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Well, Cyanide is tiny and angry. She's super like I guess like post-apocalyptic punk rock, like Susie Sue hair, like all huge and crazy, and probably wears like a lot of layers of like denim and leather and studs and all sorts of crazy shit. And she's kind of like an angry little chihuahua.
Love it.
Yeah.
Chihuahua, canon.
Yeah.
Yiffing everywhere.
Yes, she's yiffing everywhere.
Yip, motherfucker.
Yeah, so she's basically just a post-apocalyptic punk rocker.
Love it.
Sin, as I mentioned earlier, is wrapped neck to toe in like it looks like medical gauze basically. So she like a beige mummy.
Mm-hmm.
The skin you can see, which again is just like from chin up, is very dark brown. I circled looks and stuff. I wrote a new one for mummy chic under fashion, but she has a sharp face with frosty eyes and a muscular body. That's like a general look. She's like maybe a touch taller than average and like definitely looks muscular, but like it's muscle on a thin frame, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Life.
Yes, life. I said life. Like yes, life. Live for it.
L-I-T-H-E.
L-I-T-H-E. Yes. That's her look. In general outlook, I mean, I think I haven't entirely worked that out yet, honestly. Yeah, but
and I feel that's probably the one we need to go least in detail because that comes the most out through the choices we make. You know.
One thing I will say, she I like something I kind of took into like today was she will not pick fights necessarily often, but she will win them. Cool. That's kind of the route I want to take.
Are we doing outlook right now too?
I don't know.
I thought we kind of got a little bit.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. So Cyanide is very much like mercenary-ish character. So she's very much like she won't really do anything unless she's getting something out of it.
Okay.
Word.
And she's a little bit crazy and takes risks, and she really likes to fucking fight. It's like anything that is like the extreme of anything, she's just really into. So she probably is really into gambling, probably really into drugs, probably really into drinking. Like lives hard. Lives really hard.
Hardcore.
Yeah.
And with a little bit of like personality crossover there, I am indifferent to what is safe and drawn to what is not. That's something that is on the Battle Babes sheet that I kind of actually really want to take in. So that's probably where we cross over in decision making at points.
Cool. How we feeling, Nimoy?
So I am wearing, looks-wise, I'm clearly going to be wearing,
I love this.
a robe of some sort. I'm very pale. Even if this is like post-apocalyptic, like Mad Max style, I do not if I'm going outside, I'm fully covered. So very pale, and then on my face there is like ornate lines across my face, and that's the only sort of like visualization. Bald. Yeah, and like it looks like I haven't slept for like a year. Like that, I mean, like bags underneath my eyes. Like I imagine, like because the whole idea of the brainers, the fact that I'm probing through people's minds is like I'm doing this, and it's a time task. You know what I mean? It's kind of something that takes a while to do.
How does Nimoy feel about climbing into people's dreams?
Oh, I love it. That is my high. Like that is the thing that like. While cyanide is drugs and alcohol, mine is, knowing people's deepest, darkest dreams, like finding out the things that they wish would happen and finding out the things that they're afraid of is definitely the thing that gets my rocks off.
In a few of your questions, it asks about what you do things whether knowingly or unknowingly. Does Nimoy have a preference to doing that?
With people I'm in contact with on a regular basis, very unknowingly. But if we're in a situation where my abilities need to be used, like they all know what I can do. I imagine that either they think that I've attempted or they know that I've done something to them at one point in time. So because one of the parts of the character is for anyone I have a series of questions. Anyone that I don't ask questions to, it says everyone else has a +1. You have weird insight on everyone. Cool. So that's kind of like an aspect that I want to lean into.
This is the first time I've seen your eyes in hours. I was like, half the time you were speaking, I was just like, how the fuck are you seeing right now?
I'm literally looking at my sheet.
I guess I could have a lot of fun by like mouthing words as you're talking with your head down and making people tuning in think that I'm saying what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's like if we're in a situation where we're trying to be stealthy as very often as that happens, or as least as that happens, but I don't know what the right term is. I'm not afraid to like walk up and just be like, "Cool, go to sleep." Cool, like run away or open the door, kind of a thing. So everyone knows I have that ability, and that's why it kind of creeps them out. Is the fact that you're aware I could do that to you. And then as for outlook on life. I think it weighs on me very much that I know everyone's darkest, not necessarily these characters, but I know people's darkest dreams, and so I basically hate all life. Because I think it's all horrible. No matter what your like thing that you wish was happening or the thing that you're most afraid of, it's probably all horrible.
There's something very interesting here in that like going through people's minds is like that's your drug, but at the same time you are the brainer, so it's like you're the only person that can do this, so it's like one of those things that I almost feel like Nimoy might wish that they could stop but just can't, and it's almost like Nimoy has an addiction to just getting high of like going into people's minds, even though it like always kind of just wears on them too.
Yeah, because I imagine that in the moment of reading people's minds or probing them and stuff like that, that's exciting, that's thrilling. But once that's over, it's like I'm still left with like an imprint of what that person experienced in their life or whatever that dream is. And that's what kind of weighs on me and so it's like a constant. I need to do it again so that I can reach that at least neutral plateau. Because the more people I read, the deeper and darker I go. But I have to do it more so that I don't feel like shit for like 5 minutes.
Like Nimoy has like this deep emptiness that they're constantly trying to fill with the like hopes and dreams and exhilarations of others.
How do you know my life? Yeah. So yeah, I think that's
roll weird.
I think that's kind of how I roll.
Love it.
Okay, so Gray,
The alien.
Gray the alien. Gray is like 6'4".
No, they're usually short.
Damn.
Yeah, Gray is 6'4".
6'4" on Tinder.
So Gray,
Good little dicky pull.
Thanks, man.
Gray is 6'4", and also very like actually broad. So just a kind of hulking large person. They are generally wearing like a welder's apron. And
Nothing else.
I'm just picturing like this archetypal like blacksmith, just ripped, hammering away, and it'll be like the one camera shot where you have the mask and you're holding on it, then it shuts away and you just have like the cute little baby butt.
It's weird. I use my violation glove just to squeeze the butt.
Wait, quick question for Gray.
But we've talked about it and I'm super okay with it.
Wait, but for real, when Gray works, is the welding apron the only thing they wear?
When they no, they are generally like wearing just a super old tattered up T-shirt with cargo pants.
Cool.
Like lots of pockets.
Sick.
Lots of pockets.
Sick
like, and they've got
What's
like
in there?
they've got these like almost too pristine like Doc Martens, like brown Doc Martens as well. That they've made sure to keep in very good condition as much as they could. And then also they have a very like it is just a huge beard, like a foot
like
down.
full secret.
Honestly, I'm picturing like the tallest dwarf. I'm
picturing this is the bit. Thor, Ragnarok. Tyrion Lannister.
Yeah. Don't know his name. Don't look at me.
I was thinking of Blackwall from Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh, I do.
Cool. I feel
that's what I was picturing in my
I ship Blackwall.
Video games.
You ship Blackwall. It's cool.
Okay, that and then also scraggly hair that like goes out from the top almost in a mid part, but like the very top of it is like beginning to bald. Let's see what else. Oh, and then as far as the outlook is concerned, so Gray was a very religious person who just like lost their faith. So it was like, or is like just getting to the point where like I don't know.
You're a paladin dwarf.
If any of this, I don't know if any of this.
Dwarf.
I don't know if any of this is like anything, but because of like that loss of like identity with like their religion, they are now experiencing the world for the first time.
Okay.
Because it's always been I'm this glass. I feel this glass and God is with me, and like God feels this glass as well, and any thought that I have God is hearing. So like there's like a lot of guilt or like shame that came with a majority of that. So now like they are experiencing the world for the very first time, and it is in a world that is completely destroyed, but because like of the way they are newly experiencing it, they actually kind of love it.
Okay.
And they're like really appreciating being here and being around people, and they just pretty much have like a very friendly disposition.
You're just a horse girl who went to college.
Sure.
Equestrian.
I really like this introduction of theology into this. Mm-hmm. So just to kind of like I think I've discussed this in our group chat leading up to this, but just to kind of like say it on stream for you, the viewers at home. So for us, I imagine like none of us have lived before the apocalypse. That's all we've ever known.
Right.
So we're all like first, maybe second generation wastelanders, maybe older. If we want, perhaps the oldest people still living may have memories of the Golden Age. But for the most part, the wasteland is all you've ever known. And I'm actually going to read the description for the Hocus to kind of address the existence of theology in a realm where the only god most people know is the psychic maelstrom. Now, it should be crystal fucking obvious that the gods have abandoned Apocalypse World. Maybe in the Golden Age, with its one nation under God and it's in God we trust. Maybe then the gods were real. Fucked if I know. All I know is that they're gone, daddy, gone. My theory is that these weird hocus fuckers, when they say the gods, what they really mean is the miasma left over from the explosion of psychic hate and desperation that gave Apocalypse World its birth. Friends, that's our creator now.
Cool.
And that's just the description for the Hocus class, which I think kind of... it's very likely that if you had a religion, you probably would have been part of some form of Hocus-like cult at some point.
Actually, if you don't mind, I think
Yes.
I want it to be Christianity.
Okay.
So
like
you're a part of a
passed
Hocus
down-
cult.
Yes. But passed down, like my family before me, we're holding on to that idea of like, okay, this isn't like the like end of times, because like, I mean, sure, it seems like it, but the real end of times, that's still coming. Like, yeah, this is
worse. But the real apocalypse.
Yeah,
you call this an apocalypse? I'll show you.
That was not the second coming. That
this,
will come.
We're still
that's
waiting.
The prep
we're still waiting.
That was an apocalypse.
And
not the.
And I think with my savvy head, also like having that weird like I can basically kind of communicate with objects.
Yeah.
And like I have like a connection that is like otherworldly. I think I developed that when I lost my faith. Like, so this has been...
I feel like whoever raised you definitely had like a different relic from a golden age and like an intact Christianity Bible. And I imagine Gray has actually read from that.
What was your catalyst for losing your religion? Or do you not want to tell us?
No, yeah, you can know that.
Existing?
Yeah, I think it was just moreover like feeling disconnected from everybody else because of like holding on to these like archaic beliefs.
The old gods.
Yeah, sort of. And then like struggling with that like for maybe a couple of years like going back and forth and like, oh, I should abandon this so like I can fit in. And then realizing that it's like, no, I'm not trying to fit in. It's that like I honestly think this stuff is bullshit. And
what was the first thing that spoke to you?
I think it was the Judy Garland film.
I love that.
And in it, she says, "God's not real," and you were like,
If Judy Garland existed, God would have never allowed for this to happen because Judy Garland's so special.
I picture the sequence of Gray developing this sort of thing it's like it kind of began with like a mundane obsession. Like this is a thing that you thought were so cool. Like if this was like a cassette and you could like look through the light and you could see each panel, this is one of the things that you're just like, whoa, this is so cool. And you just poured over until you started getting something more than what was in your hands.
Actually, because this is like one of my favorite Judy Garland clips, instead of it being an interview, I want it to be her performance of "I Don't Care."
Cool.
It's so
And the GM writes it down.
I don't care. It's so good. She sings so effortlessly in it, and it's my favorite Judy Garland performance, I think.
Wait, so that's wonderful because you said you're just looking at it like frame by frame, basically. So you have the visuals of a beautiful vocal performance.
And then you just one day started to hear it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you were like, God's clearly
That's
not real.
profound, yo.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, enough about you. Get out.
Sorry.
No,
I love Gray.
I have a question. Sorry, Krug.
please ask.
We were talking about, pronouns and stuff like that. Does it... Is it wrong to say that I want to play a what? Like I imagine because hold on, hear me out. Like I don't understand what I am. Like I don't, because I have so many imprints on from different people, and a part of them has continuously been a part of me, that I have a spectrum of everything. Like, does that make sense? And even possibly creatures or animals within the world that I've attempted this on. So it's like, it's not so much a singularity as so much as it is like the way my mood swings at that moment, or who I'm like tapping from. Like, does that make sense at all?
It does.
I get it.
And I'm not necessarily saying that it needs to be a what, but I mean, I don't know what the correct terminology would be for that.
It's interesting because my brain automatically goes to like you taking the plural they them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so like Gray would be singular they them, and you could be plural they them. Either that or like they them zir is
or
an option.
we. You could use we.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting.
I like that.
I'm thinking like Janet from Good Place.
Yeah.
Like the collection of all of the information
But it's
in the
not.
universe.
It's not like a bipolar thing, is it?
Yeah.
It's not
No,
like
it's not like-
just like you understand that you are pulling from.
Yeah, like because so many imprints are on me and in my brain, that it's just like I don't have like.
You don't have a singular identity.
Yeah.
You are us.
Question for Nimoy.
Oh, that's it. Because then we could. Okay, so the way we would function with that, so like we would be the standard. So like, oh yeah, we is over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of love that.
I like that too.
I like even linguistically, I love that.
It's just like the group would need to be conscious of how the group discusses the group, because to say we go when we're also saying we goes.
Well, I mean, you could
know,
also
we
just say Nimoy's going over there.
Yeah,
You know
which
what I
comes
mean?
up most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because that's the only like aspect. Because I didn't want to be like binary in the sense that, because I was trying to use the fact that it's a part of my brain. Like,
it would actually be grammatically correct if you called yourself we, but we called you they.
Yeah.
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 Is anybody else thinking Borg right now? Because that's where my head is.
Borg.
Borg.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
Tell me about this board.
Sure.
I do have a
Trek
question
feel.
for Nimoy.
Yeah.
I want to say, you just said brain scan with animals. So which animal did you scan deepest with and have the best connection
Are there still
with?
What kind of animals
or
are
are they
in the
like
world?
post-apocalyptic animals?
Whatever
Are we thinking
animals aren't
fucking rad
extinct?
scorpions or?
There are rad scorpions. I'll also say this. I think I've said it elsewhere, but Apocalypse World can be a very bleak and gritty sort of game, or it can be a very vibrant and colorful. I'm very much on the vibrant, colorful, so I'm very pro-mutant, pro-cyborg, pro-robot, pro-alien. If you want to spit it out, so frankly, whatever you tell me, and if it's two-headed psychic rad scorpion, it's a two-headed psychic rad scorpion. So
But then that exists in the world, and we might run into it. So just keep that in mind. I'm all for it.
Says the person that was like, yeah, a bathroom in the tank.
Anyways, God is dead. There's a bathroom in the tank, and tell us more about psychic scorpions.
You know what?
And which had breathed fire?
I definitely would. I would prefer something that isn't as simple as a cat or a dog, right? I would prefer something that is either exotic or specific to this world.
A dog with pincer hands.
I have a suggestion. I'm going to let you think about that.
Yeah, sure.
And I want to bring it back to our angel. Hello.
Vampire armadillo.
Call me Angel.
But yeah, let's hear more about Crew.
Crew is
A dire anteater. Sorry, go ahead.
Crew's a gentleman that is
Milady.
into the finer things in life, but he's not like the kind of eccentric, wealthy type of person. He's just oh, that's nice, and just takes it. He's very self-centered and into getting the things that he wants. He's also aware that he is an incredibly valuable resource in and of himself because of what he can do.
Because you're a fucking angel.
Yeah, because I'm a fucking angel. And that's kind of what I'm leaning into, is the first line of the angel is, when you're lying on the dust in the apocalypse world, guts spilled, for whom do you pray? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This is a valuable skill set. And so what I'm thinking is Kroom is someone who understands that they have a valuable skill set. Kroom is someone who...
Wait, you're saying Kroom? Are you Crew or Kroom?
Crew, sorry. I'm gonna get used to it eventually.
It's Kroomst.
I always refer to the previous campaign's name for the current campaign, because they're all basically the same.
Next time, can you be Kroomst?
Yes.
Kroomst was very funny. Okay, sorry.
It's okay. So Kroom's not
Victor Kroom.
incompassionate, right? It's not like he doesn't have compassion for others. It's just you very rarely see it. Most of the time it's, oh, my son, he's 4 years old and he's suffering from, and I'm just cool, how much money do you have?
Yeah.
He's very blunt.
Oh no, that's so sad. How much you got?
Yeah, exactly. Kroom has absolutely no bedside manner.
It's Crew.
Sorry, thanks. Maybe
Do you want to be Kroom?
You said
I
Kroom a couple times.
I'm gonna go back through the VOD and just count how many I do of each, and then I'll pick.
Oh, yeah,
between
yeah.
them at the end.
Jesus.
Wow, what is that?
That's sexy, is what that is.
That's the creature in which I've decided to.
I don't know. Nope.
I'm just gonna assume crab, but with human titties.
No. No, let's just say tentacle grape is a thing. All right.
That's where
But tit crabs.
That's where my head went to. Kroom has absolutely no bedside manner. If somebody was shot a couple of feet away from him and they started to bleed, and then people were screaming, "Oh, you have to do something to help him." Well, I can't, because there's, he's lost this much blood, and it would take me at least this long to help him, and clearly by that point he'd be dead. And so there's no reason for me to try walk in the other direction.
Yeah, and I'm wearing my white gloves.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a level of at a certain point, if Kroom cares about somebody enough and they are in trouble and Kroom thinks that they can help, they would.
So it sounds like you're
We're Kroom now.
repeating Cyanide's kind of mercenary. It's very much what's in it for me. And did we just decide it's Kroom?
Yeah, we did. We changed it to Kroom.
$5 he starts remembering Crew.
Well, no, because
It said Crew before.
Yeah, he did. William put in the M, and then next session when I see that, I'm just going to think Kroom, and I'll forget I even tried to refer to myself as Crew. And then the last thing is that he's kind of a know-it-all asshole. If somebody says something that Kroom knows is wrong.
So you said something of a gentleman. So I'm picturing Kroom definitely puts some effort into their appearance and has that, tries to dress pretty dap, if you will.
Question, bowler or fedora?
I was thinking.
No fedora.
No.
Well,
Okay, a proper fedora.
Milady?
Yeah, that's what I said. Milady.
that's why I
Yeah.
called it.
What's
Although those fuckers wear trilbies, not fedoras. Don't talk shit about fedoras.
Fanciest, most dapper wear.
His silk underwear.
Whoa.
He's had them for a super long time in the apocalypse.
Never
It's the
washes
only
them.
thing that he cleans. Like if he has an option to clean any piece of clothing, it's his silk underwear because he doesn't want them ruined.
I'm just gonna say it. Silk underwear is not comfortable.
No.
I've never worn them.
I like
I just
micro
assume-
mold.
It's not.
They're not a piece to be worn. They're a piece to be admired. The whole class.
I literally looked like we had like
Yeah, I was like,
silk
what are you
underwear on the
pointing to?
wall. I was like, oh, when did that get there?
It's a calendar.
What if you this is a complete tangent, just shacked up with a celebrity and they just left behind their underwear, so you're just fuck it.
No.
I mean, it depends on what you're into.
No. You know what I would do? I would try to
Sell it on eBay.
I would try to contact that celebrity and be like, "Hey, you want your underwear back so I don't keep it like a freaking weirdo? Come on."
Well, we lost about 10 viewers.
No. Here's the thing.
I'm joking.
Wait, I just want to clarify.
This
You
is a
can
good
keep
moment.
someone's underwear and you can be interested in that, but they have to know you did it. They have to know you have it.
Well, when they
Consensual
left
underwear.
it there, I imagine they know.
They left it
when
there.
they left, they were like, huh.
It's
all
been
right.
drafty.
Maybe they were just trying to get out of there because they hate you. They hate you. And
I
they
mean,
feel
at the end of
bad.
the day, they still know you have it, though.
It's true.
I mean,
Yeah.
Schrodinger's underwear.
So,
Is it or is it not on the wall?
Yeah.
back
Anyways,
to Croom.
we were describing the silk underwear.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's right. That's
Clean.
Clean? Is it white or is it like...
No, they're like
Yeah, what are the
rose.
tags?
The tags?
Tags, rose, clean, silk.
Clean.
I don't know.
Clean's a rare tag in the wasteland.
Do you want to do silk or satin?
We have several messy tags, I believe, but this is our first clean
Our
tag.
first clean tag.
Satin might
What's
feel a little
does
bit...
satin feel good? Have you tried?
Satin underwear? I don't know.
Satin and silk both feel good, not to wear for underwear.
Yeah, because you sweat and that's not good.
It's like it's more of a you put this on and then someone comes over and they take your pants off real quick and then you're like, oh, check this out, and then they're off immediately.
So in that case, Croom might smell a little grungy. Like as the day goes on.
Most people do.
Yeah.
just turn into Yoda.
But I'm actually going to hang out with Krim a little
character.
bit, and let's start asking some HX questions.
Oh, okay.
Let's do it.
So, Krim, why don't you
got
read
excited.
us off one of those?
So it says on my turn I can ask 1, 2, or all 3.
Yeah. How I think we should do this is, why don't we just do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1?
1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
What binary is that?
1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. The humans are dead. Okay. And then we'll just go around. I enjoy using our time to answer those questions and the conversation that prop up, as well as if we discover other questions we want to ask or other things we find interesting. We don't necessarily need to follow this to have the same equivalent HX value. And if we come up with things that we want to be like, hey, I want to mark HX for that, we can do that if we want.
Okay.
But read one off. And this will be a question Kroom is asking Cyanide, Sin Rogers, Nimoy, and Gray, at which point one of you will be deciding the
That's
answer
our
to this
law
question.
firm.
That's good.
Have you been hurt by giant radioactive scorpions?
Speaking of the creature that I chose.
Yes, it's
Oh, yeah.
sexy.
I chose a Displacer Beast. So
Wet.
for anyone that doesn't know what a Displacer Beast is, it is a kind of like a D&D Pathfinder creature.
Google it.
Yeah, it's basically a panther, like an emaciated panther with 2 tentacles on its back. That can also short teleport. So,
it's some hentai
Doesn't it
shit.
blink into the ethereal realm?
Yeah, it can.
Cool.
It short teleports within from
it's like a
place to
Blink Panther with
Was that your first time peering into the ethereal? How often does Nimoy get to peer? Since we've established that the ethereal realm, which could also be tied into the
Fade.
psychic maelstrom, the Fade.
Yeah.
These are called kind of similar terms for the same collective insanity of the apocalypse world.
I actually, I mean, if you all are cool with it, I think it would be interesting if I wasn't I didn't understand that I was a brainer, and maybe the first time that I did this was with a Displacer Beast, and I'm like, hey, Displaced Beast, you're so wonderful. And then it's like, blah, and like, that's kind of where I associated my power origin from, maybe. And like, maybe I didn't get it from that, but it was just like the first time I experienced it. And
being exposed to the ethereal psychic maelstrom is a lot.
Yeah.
When that happens, when you open your mind to the psychic maelstrom, on a fail, compared to you either find what you want by peering through the void, or you prepare for the worst.
Yeah.
Is how they put it. And I think that was the worst. That's a lot of psychic energy coursing through a fragile young mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that kind of like pushed me into, and that's kind of why I'm a little weird.
Cool.
Yeah. It's just like, cool, that's a part of my life now. And my identity.
I'm going to circle it back to, but Kroom was asking one of our HX.
Yeah. I want to ask, which one of you put a hand in when it mattered and helped me save a life?
Definitely not me.
Not me.
I could, but your hand went straight up. So
Absolutely.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Absolutely, Gray would do that.
Yeah.
Cool. Then I believe a Kroom marks +1.
It says, for that character, write HX +2.
Yeah. So you're writing HX +2 for Gray.
Right.
So, and again, that HX +2 will become relevant if you're trying to help or interfere with Gray at some point. You'd be rolling +HX.
Right.
But cool. Gray, you got a question jumping out at you?
Yeah, sure. So I only have 2 questions, but I'm just going to do one for now, because that's what we're doing. Which of you is the most strange? Yeah. Yeah.
That seems like a fair answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for that, for those characters,
Wait, does it say which of you is or which of you are?
which of you is the most strange?
Okay.
But then it says for those characters, so it's really respecting
Oh, okay.
the Nimoy's identity, I think.
I dig it.
Fair.
For those characters, write HX +1. So I have +1 when
Dealing with me.
dealing with
Nimoy.
Nimoy. That's mine.
I'm going to skip the first question because it's everyone. Which one of you have I been watching carefully in secret? No, you know what? Let's do this one. Which one of you most evidently dislikes and distrusts me?
Oh, so Kroom's going to know that you're talented and useful, so he's not going to have any problem with you existing.
Okay.
And Gray doesn't really have a problem with anybody.
I could see the supernatural being something that I'm not super comfortable with, being that because I didn't take the visions of death thing, so I'm really very much just like existing in the physical world that I can see and understand. I could see leaning into that, and was it not liking you or not being comfortable?
It's which one of you most evidently dislikes and distrusts me?
That could be me.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the other two are kind of lame, because it's like, which one of you have slept in my presence? All of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and it's like,
Sure.
I don't want to just have a flat +2 to everyone.
Sure.
I think it makes more sense to kind of like sparse it out, but it's up to you guys.
Cool. Then, actually, I'll come back to that.
All right, so then I'm going to put you as a +3.
Cool. Woo. I'm going to. The Battle Babe asks the same question of everybody, and the question is, you go to each player, and ask them which of their characters you can trust. And we kind of just established that I cannot trust Nimoy, which means that I also have history +3 with Nimoy.
You probably also cannot trust Cyanide. I don't think anybody could trust Cyanide.
You have a
Word.
+3 because...
If
It's
I
dealing
cannot
with
trust
me.
them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. So they're like more cautious of you so they can deal with... Or they've prepared themselves to
But
deal
it's also helping as well, so it's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
It gives you a benefit and a...
Yeah, it's help or interfere with, basically.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So we kind of got that. And I was going to pose the question to you, and you answered, so
Yeah.
I cannot trust you. Have not shown yourself to be trustworthy. So
No, Cyanide is very much like out for herself.
cool. Then that would pass over to you.
Maybe
But-
you've caught me trying to penetrate your mind.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you had done that, that probably would be like, no,
Yeah.
my brain, please.
Like sneaking into your room, and I'm just like,
Out. Out.
And you can trust Gray. I don't know if you're doing it for everyone. You're doing it for everyone.
Should I do it for everyone right now?
Well, it says
If it poses to everyone, then yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, let's do. So Gray, I can trust you.
Absolutely.
Cool. So I have a -1. Kroom, do you think I can trust you?
What?
You're probably fairly certain that Kroom doesn't know how to tell a lie. He just doesn't like.
I also think I probably had to trust you at least with like medical things before. If I am the battle babe and you are the angel,
I itch.
So that makes sense.
I know. I've seen you do it a lot.
-1 +3 +3. Cool.
Okay.
Cool.
Which one of you once left me bleeding and did nothing for me?
Could be me.
Kroom.
Yeah, you're the one who established that as something they do.
Yeah.
Like she's probably gonna die.
Yeah.
And
Cool. Thanks.
I'm wearing my white gloves.
Yeah.
Boom.
I'm wearing my silk underwear. I don't know.
Okay.
It's just early in the morning. I haven't had my coffee. I'm not ready to be bled on yet.
Do you have an idea of what that situation was where I left you to die?
I feel like maybe there was like people like trying to invade our camp for our resources or something, and you and I had gotten into a fight because I feel like because we're both like kind of like hoarder, like each for our own sort of people, that we probably have like differences about like who gets what from like looting and stuff.
Okay.
So we were probably in a fight about something like that. I'd imagine maybe like you wanted something or I like took something from you, like because my character's totally not above like stealing from friends. So we were probably in some sort of fight.
Okay,
And
I
then,
can get
like,
behind that.
yeah.
And then if we were like defending the settlement or camp or whatever you want to call it, that was kind of like my way of punishing you.
Yeah, you were like, no, fuck you.
She took the thing. Fuck
Yeah,
off.
yeah. So yeah,
I super dig that.
like very passive aggressive.
Somebody else fix her.
Yeah,
You can put arms on, right?
I think I would have like been the one to like pop in and help out. Yeah.
why do your characters always just like love my characters?
At least
We're
this
2 for
time my
2.
character loves all
Okay.
characters. So
I was like, Cyanide's not very lovable.
all player characters, I should say. If anybody is going to be a problem for my friends, that's going to be a problem for them. That's what I'll say.
Cool.
It's not my turn.
Kroom,
So
stern
let's
again.
bring it back.
Oh, are we going back to me?
Kroomstative.
I would like to ask, and I know where this is going, which of you do I figure is doomed to self-destruction? Yeah.
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 Tis I.
That.
I'm loving this
You're right.
opposite end of the
Yeah.
table rivalry. Like I can see it's like, fuck you, Kroom. Eat shit, Cyanide.
Oh, she's tiny, angry, and drunk most of the time. So
Gray.
My other question is, which one of you is the biggest potential problem?
Well,
This is hard.
It could be
It's a lot.
either
It could-
Nimoy
no.
or.
Well, you already have something for me,
Yeah.
so it
Yeah.
can't be me.
I'd say Cyanide
I
probably.
mean, she's got all those bombs.
Like if somebody came and like bought her out, she might abandon you guys.
Word.
Straight up.
And with that grenade launcher for harm, AP, area close messy,
And your tank.
Yes.
and her
Yeah.
tank.
That
Yeah.
doesn't have any sort of failsafe, even though the opportunity was there and it wasn't taken for some reason. I don't understand why.
Yeah, but it does have
A
a back.
bathroom that she doesn't know about. Which I really, the thing is, it's not so much.
It's fine. I'm more of like a trench shitter anyway.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
But like,
Dig a hole.
Yeah.
Bury
Bury
it.
that shit. I'm like a cat.
yeah.
Kick.
Yeah, so then I guess that'll be for that character, right? +2. So I have +2 on.
All right. So my next question is, which one of you have I been watching carefully in secret?
I would also like to interject with another question, since we had one that we wanted to disregard. But who did you once brain scan so deeply that you became confused about your own identity?
Oh shit.
And I think Nimoy once thought that they were one of these people.
That's
Or another interesting question that could similarly be of the same vein. I think Nimoy once lost their sense of selves, and one of these people helped bring them back?
Well, if we went the help route, I would definitely say you.
Mm-hmm.
I would. But if we're gonna go the who did I deep scan too deep, I would actually say Cyanide. And the reason for that is maybe that's kind of because my character is like broody, angry kind of thing. Like I imagine that might be like something that is long lasting in my attitude from Cyanide, because Cyanide's that just like you're playing an angry character, right? You know, it's just so I imagine that might be where some of my anger comes from.
And if you also quite literally live vicariously through others, Cyanide's probably like some top shelf stuff.
Okay.
Oh yeah, she's real crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, why don't we say that? And do we want to just use the same +2 that they give?
Yeah, I feel like that sounds like a positive plus HX towards Cyanide.
Okay.
You know, +2, +3, fuck it.
Well, I got a +3 with Sin, so
yeah,
I'll keep it
+2.
even with a +2. Cool.
And I feel ultimately the net result is we should at least have one relationship with everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, and like mine says for everyone else.
Yeah, I have a for everyone else
I
option.
have an at the end. That's my next thing.
Okay,
So-
cool.
Yeah, because you only have one question.
Yep.
Oh, we all have an at the end, I think.
Yeah, it's just we each of us have a different number of questions. Like I have 3. I think Angel, you
have
have
3.
3.
Yeah.
You had 2.
I had 2, yeah, so I just wrapped up.
And then Sin only had 2 or 1. Sorry.
How many questions do you have, Molly?
I have 3.
So why
snap.
don't you go with the
Yeah,
next
let's just nail out the last
Okay.
4 questions.
Which one of you has fought shoulder to shoulder with me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
Sin.
makes
That makes
sense.
the most sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like of anyone in the camp, I probably like trust you the most.
Yeah.
Because like I know you can handle your shit.
And while like Sin
Yeah.
can't trust Cyanide, I definitely think that Sin likes Cyanide and like has done battle with. It's like I wouldn't want, if given the option, I would not fight without her, but I also wouldn't take her anywhere important. If I,
Yeah.
I trust you in a battle, but I would never let you meet my mom.
Yeah.
Do you know like the character that Finn and Rose meet in The Last
Oh
Jedi?
yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's kind of
That's kind of a Cyanide.
yeah.
Where-
Where you know,
It's like I can work with you.
Yeah. but I
I'm not
will
so sure
double
I'm
cross you
interested.
if someone pays me more.
Sorry,
sure.
but they made a
Yeah.
better deal.
Yep. Okay. Who else has questions?
I have one more.
Yeah. I have one more too.
Which one of you has been beside me all along and has seen everything I've seen?
Has seen everything you've seen?
The question says.
Has seen everything you've seen?
Just saying.
If you want to do it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
I love it.
So you've experienced my entire life through me. Is that correct?
If that's how you want it, like I'm okay with it. I just want to know if that's okay with your
it's
character.
totally okay with me. I don't think I'm like very private. I don't really care. Like
Sure.
I've done things and you like know about them, and I'm just like, yeah, you can tell people. I did those things.
So my character specifically would not be like outing you or any experiences which you've held because.
Those are your experiences. too.
Well, yeah. It's not only just it's my experiences, and I share whatever shame or gratification that you would share if I shared them.
Sure.
That being said, there's also not my secrets to be told, and
So you like respect that boundary.
I respect that boundary. The only one I respect.
All right, I take that.
I will go into your dreams at night, but man, I won't tell anyone about those fluffy bunnies.
Okay.
I have one as well.
you do?
Yeah.
Okay,
So I figured we can use the other one that you had mentioned, which is who has helped me. No, it wasn't who has helped me. It was who got me out of a deep
Identity crisis?
yeah, identity crisis. Like I've turned into a person way more than I
Who
should.
reminded you who you are?
Yeah, and that's definitely Gray.
Cool. I feel like as we kind of, I guess, start moving past this, I think the other thing I want to start finding out is, like, we've mentioned our camp. We clearly have a settlement, which is a home of sorts for all of these people. And that seems to be the biggest common bond, that we do share this home. Again, in Apocalypse World, our characters don't necessarily need to be friends, but they do work together,
Sure.
mostly. And that seems like a pretty solid through line, you know. So if there's anything...
I have one more question.
Yes.
Yeah. Which one of you is the prettiest and or smartest?
Smartest.
Yeah.
I'm the prettiest. But,
Yeah, you're the prettiest, but I already have one for you.
Yeah.
So...
Who's got the highest sharp?
So
I have
smart.
2.
Yeah.
0.
I have a 1.
I think I've got 0.
Yeah.
Objectively the smartest?
Yeah.
What's your sharp? Just out of curiosity.
Wait, what?
Your sharp. The
My
stat
sharp?
on your sheet.
1 + 1.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I am actually the smartest.
You are the smartest. I already have one for you though. I already.
Oh, yeah.
You can go with who said they were the prettiest.
The prettiest.
That's
thing.
me.
But I
we
also have one with Sin.
Okay, I was gonna say I'm awfully pretty.
Yeah.
I might be the hottest.
What is your hot?
-1.
So is mine.
Pretty, but you're not hot.
My hot is also -1.
I mean, hot is subjective. Or I
But
could.
pretty isn't.
Or is there like another gunlugger question that I could do?
Could you add just
I mean, is there one because you don't have a relationship with William yet, right? But I imagine the fact that William's the person that
Gray made me a tank.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is the fact that Gray made you a tank? I imagine that there's some sort of connection there, like the fact that it's either like,
Oh my god, did we totally have sex and you totally made me a tank?
yeah?
Yeah,
that
that's
works for me.
exactly what happened.
That works for
you
me.
totally got obsessed. You totally got obsessed with cyanide, and she ghosted you, and you made her a tank.
Ouch.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Hey, quick question.
And that's why you have a bathroom you don't know about.
Cyanide and Gray, what are your sex moves? On page 1.
Oh, sex move.
Is that the gunlugger special?
Yeah.
Mine is if you and another character have sex, you take +1 forward. At your option, they take +1 forward too.
It sounds like you denied that if you ghosted him.
What a ghost!
Sorry, what's a forward?
So
Yeah, I don't know
when
what
you
that means
have a move that offers you +1 forward, that's essentially a +1 when you choose to use it, or
for
like
future
on your rolls
Oh, okay.
moving forward. Sometimes it'll be like forward until a certain point in time, at which point it's all those there. Sometimes it's like the very next roll. Like one of those, like I think the Brainer move is you have +1 right now.
I have hold. I have that's kind of my thing. I have my abilities give me a hold 3 or 4.
Wait, I'm fleshing this out more. Okay, so it's not that it was a one and done thing.
Flesh it out.
She continues to have sex with Gray when she needs things from them.
Oh.
I
So
think,
it's like-
there's a lot of fleshing out there.
Okay, I do want to say you should
So
know
sex for repairs?
You should know my sex move before we get too into this lore because it's wonderful. So if you and another character have sex, they automatically speak to you as though they were a thing, and you've rolled a 10+.
Oh god.
Whether you have the move or not, but I do. I have. So you're a thing. So every time we have sex, I thing speak with you. Which is the thing that, like, when I communicate with the objects that I have.
Cool. So no wonder you built me a tank.
Does this
You got some
objectively
weird,
mean-
freaky connection with me that you.
Can she tell that you do that when that happens? Or is that,
The
like,
other
just
player
when
in the
you-
MC will answer your questions between them. Otherwise, the move never works on people, only things. But yeah, so if I roll on a 10+, ask 3, and those questions are, who handled this last before me? Hold on. Who made this? What strong emotions have been most recently nearby this? What words have been said most recently nearby this? What has been done most recently with this or to this? And what's wrong with this and how might I fix it?
The worst part is most of them are just you.
I am trying to fix you.
Oh my god, I love this.
I'm trying to fix you.
I love this.
I love
Yes.
that. That's awesome.
Yes. This is incredible. So Cyanide thinks that she's playing you because you give her shit when you guys bone, and she's like your pet project.
Yeah, and I think
Okay.
I think
That's
after
awesome.
we have sex, you like even divulge more about yourself than you want to, just
Yeah.
because like I've got that thing about me.
Also,
Yeah.
just another way to frame this: if a human
so
body
getting
is
demonetized.
if the human body is a thing, and we refer to the body as an object, Gray
this is
probably
slippery
knows
slope.
Cyanide's body better than any living person or creature.
Cool.
It speaks to me. You know, what can I say?
I love this.
Benefits of
I need weird Gray poetry like about how her body speaks to
I
them.
also really like this, but this having come out, can we just switch the two of these people? Because he's getting very hot and I can't. Either that or give me a fan or something. Like,
You might not want to be closer to me and Indigo because I'm about to actually establish something a little bit or suggest
Yes.
something.
Okay.
So we mentioned like the reason that Sin can't trust you is because of like a scrying incident where they like noticed it. I think Sin was fucking when it happened, instant, which she just felt like was super a breach of privacy. Like almost any other instance would be fine, but like you saw basically from her perspective as she was doing.
Sin, I need.
What is your sex move exactly?
I don't want anyone to know in case it comes up in game. I don't want anyone to look at it until we're done playing next week.
Sin, who were you fucking? I need a name.
It was an NPC.
Hold on.
What if we get like really horny from killing shit?
Yeah.
And then Gray gets like really like jealous and broody when this happens.
This actually might change things. Let me tell you what mine is.
Okay.
If you and another person have sex, you automatically do a deep brain scan on them. Whether you have the move or not, roll weird as normal. However, the MC chooses which questions the other character answers.
Okay. So would that be on me? That'd be on the person that I was having sex with.
No,
right?
it would be who I'm having sex with.
So I think you two are having sex.
So I was having a three-way.
You just need another person.
No. If I was, you're saying we were.
Yes, you.
Oh,
and
I'm sorry. I see.
You
I see
and
what
I
you're
were,
saying.
and I
then
used a deep brain scan on you.
Oh. I hate it. Here's the thing. I think Sin would totally go for like the idea of having sex with someone as weird as you once until that happens. So I actually really like that. I think that will never happen again. But I can
like
super see that being set up.
The distrust was that.
Is the fact because the thing is I don't have to do it.
Okay, then I do need to read my sex move then. And I'm going to say, this is where I learned that sex move. If you and another character have sex, nullify the other character's sex move. Whatever it is, it just doesn't happen.
Ooh.
After that incident, I made sure that could never happen again.
Okay, so that's where I attempted to do it, and you did it. And then that's basically
you got like a little bit.
Well, yeah, it's like you basically were getting the presence of me because I get a series of questions that I can ask you. So it's like maybe it was like, what was your lowest moment? And I was attempting to figure that out, and that's when you used yours back.
To shut you down.
Yeah, and then it was like, cool, get off, or I'm getting off. However it works.
Ray pushing Kylo Ren out of the ring.
And that maybe that's the con.
Yeah,
I just imagine that like, of course, when Sin is undressed, it's just like Kylo Ren body underneath.
Sure.
Because you got the muscles.
Yeah. It's even like more muscular than you would think under all the gauze.
The weird thing is that like my for me it's just like I lift.
It's great because so then you can't see exactly how much of the gauze is removed, but it is not all of it. It is like as little as possible, probably. At least the first instance.
Wrap it before you tap it.
Yeah.
Unwrap it, but leave it partially wrapped before you tap it.
I just want to say that I'm really glad about how deep my friendships are going to get with all of you throughout this campaign.
Are we allowed to do this on Twitch?
I have no idea. I legitimately don't
Are we
have
allowed
any
to
idea.
do this?
I don't know.
I mean, it depends on how graphic we get with role-playing the sex scenes.
Here's what I'm throwing out there. I can still see that we're live. So
we're probably good.
We at least haven't egregiously like stepped over any lines.
We haven't shown a nipple. This is true.
We're not going to.
Nobody describe a nipple either.
No, don't even say the word.
It's a male nipple.
It's okay if it's male.
No,
tit traps only have male
not
breasts.
On Twitch.
Not on Twitch.
What if it's an animal nipple?
Okay, but like for reals though, I'm definitely turning on the 18 and over.
Good idea.
For this, the next.
Yeah.
100%.
So who's Krum fucking? I'm sorry.
Wait, did you gave your sex move already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Do you want to know mine?
Mine was a treat.
I just wanted to make sure we didn't.
By the way, readers at home, characters have sex moves. Sex is a part of this game.
They have special abilities.
We're not just being weird pervs for no reason. I mean, we are weird pervs for no reason, but
I feel like I need like 3 of these for next week.
Oh God, me too.
What's your sex move?
What's your character's sex move on the sheet?
My history, if me and another character have sex, your history with them on your sheet, so my sheet, goes immediately to +3, and they immediately get a +1 to their history with you on their sheet. If that brings their history with you to a +4, they reset it to a +1 instead as usual, and so mark experience.
So theoretically, somebody could fuck you exclusively to level up.
Correct.
That's kind of cool.
I'm an experience fountain. Maybe fountain was the wrong person.
Cyanide.
Yeah, cyanide's all like, oh, interesting. I can do something here.
Like, put that light bulb out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Gray's up here going, "He can't fix you."
Well, I don't think I get generally upset about it. I think, in fact, I think that I'm happy to see you with other partners. And, I'm like, hey, yeah, live your life. Yeah, you know.
You're too pure for
I'm
this
very
post-apocalyptic
pure.
world. Yeah.
I think about that when you're deciding which player character to kill.
You know the joke on my mind. It's gonna be so sad when Gray dies.
Yeah. Anyway, have we gotten to the part where we say at the end, choose one of the characters with the highest history on my sheet?
Fuck yeah, we do. Yes?
Fuck yeah, we do, R. So
Mine is obviously Gray.
So,
Oh, we didn't do the everyone else option, right?
Oh, well, I just did that on
I
my
did
own.
mine.
I did mine out. Mine is just that you all find
everybody will have their own,
I'm
or
not
like
joking.
it's going to be a different one for each player character.
Wait, yeah, can we
Yeah.
Mine's-
yours first?
Kroom, start with you.
Yeah.
Mine just says, for everyone else, write HX +1, you keep your eyes open. What does that mean?
That's just generally, like, the angel is an observant individual, so you're watching, you're keeping your eyes open on other people. So HX is a reflection of your understanding of the people, you know, as opposed to, I know, like, choppers get HX -1 because they don't really, like, do people,
Right.
you know?
Okay.
But you're observant, you keep your eyes open, you watch people's movements, so you have an above average understanding of people you don't really know.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mine is for everyone else, right? HX -1. You've got other stuff to do and other stuff to learn.
And other cyanides to do.
For mine is everyone else write a +1. Yeah, you have weird insight into everyone.
I don't have an everyone else. I just do for characters I can trust. It's history -1, and if I can't trust them, it's +3.
Which is such a fun dynamic.
It's really cool. Yeah.
You're indifferent to that's what you can trust.
Mine is -1. You find no particular need to understand most people.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Fuck them and fuck them.
Fuck them and fuck them.
Demonetizing on YouTube.
Then just
so
to kind of quickly
quickly.
address the next stage is we will be highlighting stats. So what that means is whenever you roll a highlighted stat, you'll get to mark experience. So it kind of it kind of enemies you to play. To adjust your play style to favor those sorts of move, you know, and these can change like during every session. So if like, because HX will like change over the course of sessions too as well, you know. So it's like somebody's like, "Hey, I'm your favorite person. You know what? You've been hanging out, Gray. You're being nice. I want to see you go hard." You know, and somebody could highlight that stat to encourage you to go hard. But generally speaking, I believe it is the person who has the highest. Somebody want to read it off the character sheets? You got those.
Yeah, at the end, choose one of the characters with the highest HX on your sheet. Ask that player which of your stats is most interesting and highlight it. The MC will have you highlight a second stat too.
Cool. Who has the highest HX?
Nimoy.
Again, stats being cool, hard, hot, sharp, weird, audience.
I'm gonna say sharp.
Sweet.
Highlight.
I'm just gonna put a smiley face next.
Well, there's a little circle
There's a
fill
circle
in.
to fill in. That's highlight.
Man,
Mine says the same thing. So the person with the highest is cyanide.
Okay. So you choose one of my stats.
No,
Or
you
I
choose
choose
one
one
of
of your
yours.
stats. Okay. So and why? Okay. So this is the thing that I want you to use.
Essentially,
that you
or the
think
stat
would be-
you find
Like, what
most
would- yeah.
interesting, I believe, is the syntax phase.
Yes.
Sharp.
Sharp. All right. Cool.
For mine, it is sin.
Okay. Now, most interesting. I think I'm just gonna say weird. I think after everything it's still just weird.
Nothing wrong with main stat.
You're gonna level up so fast.
Mine is a tie between Cyanide and Nimoy, both at a +3. It makes some sense that Nimoy would get some influence over my personality after that incident. But also, I mean, you guys could talk about it and pick one together potentially if you're sharing history with me.
I think cool would be the best one.
Yeah.
is
let's
the one
do
I
cool.
was thinking
Yeah,
about.
that's fine.
Cool.
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 The MC will highlight if you choose cool. If you want to choose a second one, I'll forfeit the MC highlight.
Okay,
That's a cool way
hot.
to do it. Hot.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm cool.
No, hot.
Those are my only positive stats. So those you picked well. Thank you so much.
Mine is gray.
Hot.
I'm -1 on hot.
Hell yeah.
You're gonna have to rely on seducing / manipulating.
Cool.
I'm really.
Room. I want you to highlight. We just highlighted Sharp for you, correct?
Correct.
Cool. I kind of want to see Nimoy.
What
I
about
want to see
Nimoy?
Nimoy go hot.
Wait, this
What?
is Kroom.
Wait, that's
Kroom or
Kroom.
Kroom. Oh shit. Nimoy chose Sharp. Did I get that right? Fuck it.
We
Yeah.
both have Sharp highlighted.
Yeah,
Cool.
I chose Sharp for Kroom. So anything other than Sharp for Kroom.
I want to see Kroom highlight hot, just because I feel like I haven't seen that yet.
A hot Kroom.
Gray, I want you to highlight hard because it seems like the least likely thing Gray will do, and I want to see what happens when Gray does get upset and go hard on a mofo. Nimoy, we chose weird, straight main stat in it. I want you to do cool.
I was thinking cool as well.
Which I think will be interesting to see, like, how does one react to pressure or act with finesse or whatever. We've selected 2 for Sin. And Cyanide, we just highlighted hot for you. Yeah, we're gonna highlight hard for you.
Hard.
Excellent.
Hell yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna main stat that.
Thank you.
Cool. So I'm really between the moves dangerous and sexy and visions of death. And after thinking about the Brainer encounter, visions of death is making more sense that I would have that as like a residual effect.
That's super
The only
cool.
thing is I have a -1 to weird, and I am a minimum maximumer, and that just feels weird to me. So I'm still thinking about it. I might also move my
Because
stats.
if you
but
the issue is that if you fail, you have a vision of yourself dying, and you take a -1 to any attempts
throughout the entire battle,
Yeah.
which I do plan on being a battler. So maybe I'll just change
cool.
to be.
That's if you fail, but if you succeed, you get to vision one person that lives and one person that dies.
NPCs only.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if on a mixed success you choose one person, you choose one of those. So I think I am gonna actually take Visions of Death. It makes more sense than Dangerous and Sexy. I also think it's more fun. And I'm just gonna probably move my stats.
Well, why don't we just homebrew it and you can take Visions of Sex?
I'm also torn between 2 moves because I'm torn between fuck this shit, which is name your escape route and roll plus hard. On a 10+ suite, you're gone. On a 7-9, you can go or stay, but if you go at cost, you leave something behind or take something with you. The MC will tell you what. On a miss, you're caught vulnerable, half in and half out. Or battle hardened, which is when you act under fire or when you stand overwatch, roll plus hard instead of roll plus cool, which I feel like because she's like patrolling the camp with her tank would be more like in character.
That makes way more sense. Like I don't like at least from your description, I didn't imagine your character as a runner. Like,
Yeah.
you're almost like fight or die.
Yeah,
you know what
she
I mean?
kind of
Like,
because the other 2 that I've already chosen are blood crazed and not to be fucked with. So she's like a berserker basically.
yeah, it doesn't make sense for you to like run.
I was thinking it was
it's a
just like
fun move,
if
but
she's
I'm
on like a self-preservation kick, but like also
I see, and again, it's your character, but like I imagine
Yeah.
more of like if we had to run from a battle, like I'm over there going.
yeah. I also feel like as much as like Cyanide is like out for her own shit, she's not necessarily loyal, but I feel like there is some sort of like weird conflict in her with you guys.
Yeah, because you were saying like if someone paid us, you'd be out, which makes sense. You know, like just like cool deuces. I'm actually getting paid for this gig versus just like scrounging with you fucks. Yeah.
I'll say it sounds like you're a top dog of this encampment, if you will. I think it's pretty well known that you're the most firearm slinging motherfucker
The hardest
around.
motherfucker.
So as far as like guardian angel of sorts over this place, I think you have a little status in that, which can be leveraged to your favor, you know, and it's a known element versus an unknown element, which perhaps cyanide might value. You know, here's a place where you can get like laid on the reg, as well as people will outfit you with bullets and repairs. So there is a very tangible incentive to protecting and helping maintain this particular settlement remain intact.
Yes, totally. And, you know, I never like really hurt for resources and stuff with this team of people around me. I also wanted to know, I think I'm okay. So like my concept for Cyanide and like the way she was raised in the apocalypse is kind of like in Solo, like where Han and like his girlfriend were kind of raised in this like weird like camp of like working like scrappy orphans kind of, and she like got out. So I'm wondering if she knows like anybody from kind of like her youth in the wastes
Group?
Like, yeah, if anybody wants to have that sort of connection with her.
Well, if you're a scrappy person, I'm gonna say not me. I probably stay away from technology.
Would we maybe know each other?
Yeah. I mean, I think so. I think that like Sin can trace her lineage back, but I think definitely she has like survived on her own at least for a while. So that makes sense. I picture her as like a self-sustaining.
So maybe you and I kind of like started establishing the camp because we could just like fight our way out of anything.
Totally.
And then like linked up with these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
It almost makes me think of like if anyone watches The Walking Dead, like when the like Rick's group of survivors finally find Alexandria and they're just like, what the fuck do you mean you have no guns? Like, how are you still alive? What the hell? And they're just like, all right, we run this shit now, kind of thing. Like, okay, cool, you got the resources, we got the guns, let's work this out.
Yeah.
I have something to throw out there really quick, if this is okay with you. My infirmary comes with a crew of 2. They are Thing 1 and Thing 2. I found an old Dr. Seuss book one day, and I thought that was really funny, and so I exclusively called them Thing 1 and Thing 2. So much so that, to this day, none of these people know their real names, and I've completely forgotten.
Well, it's Thing 1 and Thing 2. That's their names.
Yeah.
Cool.
Who's Dr. Seuss?
It's, do you know what a book is?
Is it like, no.
From the before times.
Yeah. It's like...
Is Dr. Seuss the one who trained you?
No. It's... No.
That was Dr.
Jekyll?
Scobell.
Splovell?
Dr. Kevorkian.
That was Dr.
Kevorkian.
Spencer!
God bless him.
That's canon.
Just saying,
Dr.
that person
Splovell.
messaged me on the side and said, hey, I changed my handle, so if that person wants it back, they can have it.
Oh, no.
And then they were like...
Tell them no.
And then they also said, also, I'm going to check out your guys' stream.
Oh my God!
Well,
Spencer with 7 hours. If you're
still
here, I
here.
love you.
Spencer with 7 R's.
Oh,
I'm
God.
the Twitter user formerly known as Spencer with 7 R's. Hello.
You guys should,
You're
like,
welcome, I
meet
guess.
and go viral.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
We found a new advertising technique. We take people's Twitter handles and then like
No,
we have them
and then
take
drop
ours.
them. And
Just
Oh, yeah.
So what you're saying is we hold Twitter handles hostage.
just
Yes.
randomly at people.
It's called name camping. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know QueueTimes is still not available.
Are you? Hey.
How I talk about it? I'm done being _QueueTimes.
He's in his emotions hood.
Hey, keep talking. Say something, Jake. Say something.
Okay, this is me talking still. I was thinking maybe Gray was when you got me out of the personality. It was you got me out of Cyanide's personality when I went too deep on Cyanide, and because you have a specific insight on Cyanide is what allowed you to get me out of that situation.
Why are you laughing, William?
is it hard to take him seriously when his head's covered like
I just
that?
can't see anything.
He's a Nazgul.
I do have 2 questions that I want to ask of everyone.
Oh, sure.
First, what is your personal belief of what caused the apocalypse? And second, who is your worst living enemy?
I can answer the first. So I think we haven't established like physically what happened yet. I have like kind of an idea, but I think whatever the manifestation was, Sin believes that it mostly came from the Earth fighting back against us. And like sort of what I wanted to propose earlier, if this is something we're down with, is like the apocalypse coming from us sort of fighting deforestation and loss of like natural resources and finding a way to replicate them, and then that just getting out of control to the point where it's like overgrown. And so I don't know if that can be like something that just like Sin believes at least, but that's a suggestion for like what could have actually happened too.
I love that because A, that means so much carnivorous plants, and B, firefighters that actively like go scorched earth to kind of like clear it away, you know. So there's.
So I think like however it happened, I think Sin thinks it was something that like the earth or the natural like elements did because it was dying.
Cool. All right.
I don't know if it works out.
I feel like Cyanide really doesn't care. She doesn't spend a lot of time thinking about that because she's like just very like always in fight or flight mode. But if hard pressed, she knows that people are not usually good and thinks that it was just people being terrible and causing the downfall in terrible people ways.
People killed the world.
I'm gonna say greed.
Greed?
Literally, because my insight on different people, I find everyone greedy, and that's probably what took it. Everyone just took too much, and it could not sustain itself because too many people took too much.
Everyone wants more than what they have. And you've seen into everyone's mind, and you know that the sum of what people want is greater than the sum of what is.
Damn.
Cool.
As for largest living enemy, man.
I do have an enemy, by the way.
Do you?
Yeah.
And some of us may share enemies as they come up.
We might.
Yeah, we
I think,
should share an enemy.
so
Like a big bad.
we had talked about like finding this camp of people who like were kind of on their own. I think my greatest enemy is the leader who abandoned them.
Cool.
If that is cool.
Wait,
Like imagine like there was a leader with this camp that like brought them here and then had abandoned them and
Who
left,
like
and left
formally
them
headed this settlement?
exactly, yeah, and then just like left them
Cool.
for nothing.
All right, pause. I think Gray and Nimoy, since you guys have permanent establishments here, I think one or both of you might know the name of that person.
You mean Grand Kroom?
Gray and Krum. Shit. What did I say?
You said Nimoy.
When you have a face, it's just like honestly, Nimoy isn't an individual. It's just in the stratosphere.
Exactly. I think this helps.
Yeah, technically, you know about. It makes sense.
Yeah.
so
I immediately had an idea, and it can be in fact the same person. Pastor Rutherford Gaines.
I feel this is a big, fat, greedy person that I do not like.
The reason that Gray does not like Pastor Rutherford Gaines is because probably right on the cusp of when they were battling with their own faith, this pastor comes to town and has or maybe were we saying that was the person who settled this place?
Not necessarily. I think
that
just
was
like
running it.
a leader who abandoned the people.
The previous president. If
So
you
they had
will.
come through and they were helping build up the establishment, and then took a leadership position, and we're doing it all through preaching a religion and that sort of thing. And just it's not even necessarily the Christian faith. It was just a religion that they was so clearly scammy and just trying to get people to be submissive and this is the way, and almost in a sense the Pastor Rutherford Gaines also was bringing back those old horrible quote unquote traditional values of you see now the men have to be back in positions of power. We can't just completely let go of civilized society, so we can't just let everybody do whatever they want, that kind of a thing. So and all
I
of
really
that
like this figure, and I think this person definitely has a lingering presence, being an influential and charismatic figure who came through town.
Well, and I think if I could pile on to that, I think when he left, he took a lot with him.
And I do want to say, I do think we have two figures here, and I do want to highlight that.
And I want to know what you were going to say about cyanide.
well, what I was gonna say is that Cyanide would be.
I want to hear where Crew was going with that real quick.
I was gonna say he took a lot of things with him. You and I both are in this not comfortable, but we have resources available to us, and I'm sure the rest of the settlement had at least some sort of ability to supply themselves with the things they need. And I think when he left, it wasn't just him; it was him and like maybe a close circle, and they took like
as many guns and barter as they could carry.
And so that's why like we like stayed there and like we rebuilt it and like helped like push it back to or we're trying to push it back to the level of security and of comfort that it was before.
Cool.
And so that's why we're like...
Can I ask a question about the settlement itself?
Yeah.
Is it more like the 5 of us and then a handful of people, or is this more like a small city or like a town? Or
Yeah, I didn't really...
I think it's more of a town size.
Yeah.
You know, population 100-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do so. What did we conclude something, or what was up with?
Oh well, what I was gonna say is that like, well, because Jonas was saying that Sin would just be like, oh, how dare you abandon people? Cyanide literally would not give a shit about that.
Right.
But if like this person like had offered her something and gone off without like paying her or giving her
we
something.
said that these are 2 different people, though, right?
I would like them to be 2 different people.
Okay, but also Cyanide has a lot of people she hates.
Cool.
She probably hates her parents because I feel like they probably sold her off to like child labor when she was young, which is one of the reasons she's so like scrappy and intense. So she really hates them. She doesn't really know who they are. That might be like something that she's like trying to find out so she can kill them. She also probably like hates whoever ran like the child labor camp. So that could be, there could be some crossover here.
Yeah.
But she could also like despise the person who abandoned this like establishment that we're kind of like guarding now. If they didn't give her things that they were promised.
You know, somebody. I'll start with this. I haven't seen Solo, so I don't have that full frame of reference. When we talk about like, you know, orphan child labor, is this more like, it sounds like you were sold into slavery? Is that
basically
intense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did Sin liberate you from slavery? If that is. How I'm kind of reading that. At
That
which
would be
point,
interesting.
that seems to imply the presence of who's the head slaver of that hierarchy.
Or like, what kind of family did you have? Like, maybe your family like got me.
Yeah, that's fun.
And then, like,
yeah, 'cause I think I definitely had like I think I had as normal a family as you can have, at least through like prepubescence. So yeah, it could make sense. Maybe it's both. Maybe like I discovered the like wherever you were at, and like freed you, saved you somehow, and like brought you back to my family, and then like we lived there for a bit before going off.
So we're like weird fucked up stepsisters.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that.
Cool.
So maybe like you're like the only person she has any sort of loyalty to, probably.
Cool.
But I can't trust you.
Yeah. No, you know that because
you too much.
I do want to reel that back just a tiny bit. You are I when describing we are like weird fucked up stepsisters.
Yes. Like
Yes.
Because I want the option of all these characters to fuck. So like it is like we are weird.
But
fucked
also
up.
incest is in vogue now, so
I love you
Thanks,
like
Game
a
of Thrones.
sibling. Like
I love you like a
Lannister
Lannister.
sibling.
Yeah, like a Lannister, yeah. Or like
always
Elizabeth and Booker from BioShock.
Cool. What I would love to hear though is I want to know then if you hold grudges towards people who like made a deal and then stiffed you on that deal. I want you to give me a name of someone who has done exactly that, and I want to know who did it most recently and over what. But we'll give you a moment to think about that.
Okay.
I want to jump back to this side of the table. We kind of had that group answer in terms of worst living enemy. Did we have any more over on this side of the table?
I have a concept for mine. I don't necessarily have a specific person, and maybe it's something that could lay into maybe someone else's as well. But the concept I want to have is I'm the brainer, right? But what if I'm not alone? What if, like, maybe my worst enemy is the fact that I went to go read someone's brain and they read mine instead?
And you don't know who it was.
I don't. You know what I mean? Like
I was in a crowd.
No. I imagine the reason why I'm sticking around this town is because it's a plethora of people, so I have more people to feed off of. Because I imagine it's a diminishing return. The more I feed off of you, or the more I use, it's less exciting. Yeah, I've already seen you ride your bike for the first time. You know, it's like I can't. I want new experiences. I want new things, and that's why I've stuck around. But maybe maybe there was, and it could be the person that was the preacher that was dealing. You guys were dealing. I read their mind, and they read mine, and now we know each other's secrets, and maybe that's a reason why that they left.
Cool.
Is because they're not. Maybe they were using their powers to control people, and that's why they were making people. Men have to be men. That crap. And. I mean that's if we want to lay into that, but that's the concept I would like is that my worst enemy is basically a reflection of me.
Cool. I dig that.
I would dig if it was in fact Pastor Rutherford Gaines because one that would having power would give him entitlement to think that he had some sort of religious anything, and then two, I think we were maybe we Kroom and I were even planning on kind of a coup or something or overthrowing him.
Maybe we had
a plan,
kind of inkling that he was going to do what he did.
And we had a plan and everything. And he because he has powers similar to Nimoy, figured it out before we even began to act on it, and that's when he up and left.
Oh, maybe after probing you guys, since I had a piece of you guys,
I'm gonna add. Oh,
yeah, no.
I was gonna say, and furthermore, as part of this, Pastor Rutherford Gaines, as they departed, knowing that they were taking a coup, and I imagine that you had started reaching out to people and be like, hey, this is not cool. So you had already started to develop hey, we agree that this is kind of uncool, let's figure it out. So I think inside Rutherford's mind was all right, cool, weighing up the odds. And so as part of their act of leaving, publicly denounce the two of you, you were the Adam and Eve, that the sin, and because of your actions, that's why this town would not be saved by the pastor, and then they up and left. And so there are a number of people who still feel that lingering presence being oh shit, we don't have enough food. Well, fucking great, didn't scare them off.
I like that.
I dig that.
I like that a lot.
So you had mentioned, Spencer, that it sounded like we were describing two different villains, what I was saying and what they were, but it does sound like they could be one. Do you want to differentiate the person I was describing as the pastor?
And part of the reason I opened this up so that optimally we would have had 5 different potential rivals or enemy figures, that creates a larger web. Though a smaller web is...
It is a one-shot.
It's a one-shot, yeah. I can keep it connected and also make it a separate person if you want a separate person to play with. But so I guess I just need to ask first, did Pastor Rutherford found the original settlement, and is that important?
I don't think so.
I think it's more in character for him to have taken it.
I think
so, especially if it's a part of him manipulating people. He got to this already established town and then was like, "Hey, I can save you."
Now. Yeah, I think the person who was in charge when the pastor got there basically gave it up without a fight, and that is the person that I'm more mad at than the pastor himself, because they let the evil in. They're the one that just opened the door for them.
Oh,
and they might still be at the camp.
The person who didn't do their job well enough.
Yeah.
Do they know now, though?
All right. So I'm thinking.
That's really interesting.
I think I see how this is all tying together at this point.
Cool. Are there any last things we need to do?
Are we cool with overgrowth of environment into the earth as source of apocalypse? Does that sound like something
I don't think we know.
I don't think we know because we're second or third generation in. It's more.
Well, I mean how it's manifested.
So I think there is pockets of overgrowth. At the same time, I think part of the downfall of man in trying to combat that was again overzealous scorched earth. So you have these alternating patches of desolation and overgrowth.
I got what you're saying.
And so that's kind of the checkerboard of the world you have known.
The apocalypse world.
The apocalypse world.
Word.
Cool. Then I think to finish us off for tonight, you all hear aloud. And a deafening rubble scatters, flies over you wherever you are in your original places. And they did it. They built an actual to God, goddamn fucking trebuchet. What are you gonna do about it?
Who built it?
They did.
We'll find out next time.
Cliffhanger on session 0.
All right.
Cool.
It's a good
Sweet.
cliffhanger
Yay.
because you don't need to watch this to know, because we're just going to say exactly
Well,
this again at the beginning of the
There
next
was the
session.
trebuchet. That's the recap.
There's a
Cool.
trebuchet. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Cool.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Well, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see more of that next week.
I'm very excited for
Yeah.
this group
Right.
of miscreants.
Hello, and I guess goodbye. I have been Spencer LaBelle. This has been session 0 of our Apocalypse one-shot. We will be shooting again next week, and that will be the one-shot paying off of all the discoveries we have made today. But I guess if we would like to go around the room and
Start with Kroom
Start
so
with
that
Kroom so that he can move
Kroom's
away
to
from
Start with Kroom so he can hit the camera on the way to the computer.
We'll do it on purpose now. My name's Krug. You can get me at QueueTimes on Twitter. Also, you can talk to me and Indigo and the rest of these people at _QueueTimes on Twitter. That's the end of my thing. I'm going to awkwardly make my way out of the shot now.
and Kuros.
Great. Are you okay? Hi, I'm William. You can get me on Twitter and Instagram at KWilliamWhite. I also do a show on QueueTimes called Hijinks and Handlebars. That is every Tuesday evening at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. And that is using the Kids on Bikes system. Kids on Bikes is like if D&D was Lord of the Rings, Kids on Bikes is Stranger Things.
cool. I've been Jake.
The face!
The whole
Big
time.
reveal.
My name's Indigo. You can reach me on Twitter at IndigoQT. I am one of the people that run QueueTimes with Krug, not Kroom, and a lot of stuff that we've done. A bunch of us were just on Outbreak Undead, which the VODs are on right now. There's something really cool coming down the line, so stick around for that. And we've got a bunch of stuff coming up. We've got You're Running a Thing, which you can talk about. We also have a Starfinder run that we're doing in the future. Hopefully you'll see a lot more of all of these faces coming up soon. But yeah, that's my plug.
Yeah. I have been Jonas. You can find me on Twitter at Jonas Newhouse. And you can also catch me on Wednesdays on William's wonderful Stranger Things D&D
Wednesdays?
Kids on Bikes show. On Tuesdays, it's a Wednesday now. On Tuesdays, doing that, as well as, like Indigo said, many of the Wednesday streams. And I will be running 2 weeks from now, so after we're done with this game, a game called Jason Statham's Big Vacation. That's going to be a lot of fun. I'll talk more details about it next week.
Yeah.
I am Molly McIsaac. I am Molly McIsaac on pretty much everything except for on Twitch, where I am Night Glimmer. Yeah. I like to play the tabletop games on the stream.
Wait, could you give us the description you gave not on stream for your ears?
Oh yeah, these are mink dick bones. No, they're actual like mink
Please
penis
just
bones.
end the stream.
Goodbye, Mink Dick Bone.